We went to the group stage like any other match that we came in. We came focused, one game by one game. And we're still with that mentality for the rest of the tournament.
Oh, what a shot from Palu.
The attack meta is really aggressive. It's almost like the Brazilian one. It's really unpredictable. I don't know what they're gonna do in the match. We can study, we can make some counter plays, but in game it's different. They play different.
Look at it!
I think we got really good chance against them because our map was really good. They surprised a lot because most of the teams I think were thinking they were going to be like an easy game, you know, against them, and they like got a punch on the face.
뭐 아무래도 메이저 가기 전에는 다른 팀원들한테 좀 팀들한테 많이 무시를 받지 않았을까. 그냥
We are trying to be the most prepared possible. I feel it's gonna be a fun game.
Our first quarterfinal for the Mexico Major is here, and it's one that very few people would have expected or predicted, especially with Damwon Kia coming out of groups as a shocker, including defeating the reigning SI champions, Ninjas in Pajamas, not only once, but twice in order to get here. And of course, Team Liquid, the team that has been struggling underneath the cruel reign of NIP for some time, haven't been able to overcome them. Well, they're not here anymore, NIP. They are gone. So instead, as they come onto stage, it's a very unique entrance. You'll have to see it. We're looking at this team as the most consistent. You know, if anything, they were the polar opposite of NIP. NIP looked lost, looked shaken, couldn't get the job done. Meanwhile, Team Liquid, 5 wins, 1 loss. The 1 loss was against TSM in a match that didn't really matter because they were already 4-0 in regulation wins in their group, so hadn't quite locked up that #1 seed, but effectively had. So took their foot off the gas a little bit, and here we are. Now's the time for Team Liquid to show us what they've got, but they had made the group stages look very easy.
Liquid undoubtedly having the best time here in the group stage. Absolutely crushed their group. And as you mentioned, 1 loss, but like it doesn't count. I mean, they were rocking Blitz. They were playing that one for fun. So Team Liquid, so strong. You can see the joy in their faces when they're coming out like that. I think that just talks about their confidence. I mean, this is a game that they should win pretty handedly, and they're going to be happy to make it to the semis.
They have not skipped a beat since SI 2021. Aside from that loss to Team Liquid, to NIP in the grand finals, they no longer have worrying about familial grief. They don't have to worry about additional pressure. They have arguably one of the easiest roads to the grand finals with this matchup against Damwon Kia, then the winner of Dark Zero in Team 1. Theoretically, the path for Liquid to get all the way through to the end of the Mexico Major is very wide open, and it seems like everything that they've done in the group so far is just showcasing their confidence. They're not very overconfident. They got 5 wins, and obviously the one that they lost is a game that we're simply not caring about at all. But everything else about this Liquid team suggests they could very well be next up for best team in the world at the current minute.
Yeah, it does seem that way. You'd have to say they're probably the favorites to win it all right now, unless you guys have some dark horse. You think?
I think there's some good teams. I think some good teams on the other side of bracket.
Are you predicting TL's going to win?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I'm predicting TL will at the very least make grand finals. I'm not about to make my grand final prediction yet.
Okay, fair enough.
We're getting close, though.
We're getting close. We're getting close. That's fair. You know, they do have to play a few more games. Now, on the other side, we do have, of course, Damwon Kia rowing their way onto the stage right now.
Don't trip.
It's been smoother sailing than some might have predicted for Damwon Kia coming into this event. They were not expected to make it out of their group. But thanks to 2 overtime wins versus 6 invitational champions NIP, they are here instead of them, Dark Zero, the other team that came out in first place. Now, Damwon Kia and Dark Zero did play that final match yesterday. It was a 7-2 win for Dark Zero. So can you fill in our viewers who haven't perhaps had a chance to watch that game yet.
Sure.
What did you think Damwon Kia looked like? Because I was surprised they lost by that score.
Yeah, I think it started off pretty even, went back and forth. I believe it was 2-2 at some point, 4 rounds in. But then once we started to get onto the second half, once things started to spiral, Dark Zero really fell away with it. It does seem to me like Damwon Kia are a very momentum-based team. And for such an important game that had so many crazy circumstances around it, being delayed and all of that, I really do think that it kind of got in their heads and it got away from them. I believe that they have played in this group stage better than they played yesterday in that Dark Zero game. But at the very least, it was only for seeding. They're still here anyways.
They had all of their games against every individual team in their group had the exact same result. It was 2 losses in regulation to Dark Zero, 2 wins in overtime against NIP, and what was the third team in their group? Somehow I'm blanking on who it was.
G2 Esports.
G2 Esports was 2 regulation victories.
Very convincing
So,
wins.
like, all in all, that's a very nice 10 points, but we do have some questions about their map pool, very obviously, because fun fact, they only played 3 maps in groups. It was 3 times on Villa and 3 times on Clubhouse. Every other map in the pool was something they did not have to concern themselves with.
2 maps.
2 maps, that's it.
Yep.
So now we're looking at a scenario where if they ban 3 and they only have played 2, you can't expect them to only be able to play on the maps that they have unbanned so far because we're in a best-of-3 format and you can't have all of those secured every time.
All right, as we head into our veto right now, Jesse, why don't you talk us through... As we know, Damwon has only played 2 maps here, but
Yes.
they don't play a lot of maps even back in APAC.
Yeah, so I mean, in best of ones, obviously, you can always ban 3 maps before you have to play anything, and Damwon have really used that to shorten the map pool. They ban the same 3 maps every single time. This goes back to APAC throughout Stage 1, throughout Stage 2. They have played consistently only Clubhouse, Cafe, Oregon, and Chalet. Or sorry, Villa, Oregon, and Chalet. They don't play Cons, they don't play Coast, and they don't play Cafe. So those 3 maps, almost guaranteed. As Liquid get ready, they're going to be picking one of those, and Damwon are going to be forced to play a map that they've never played before. They'll get to ban 1, but they won't get to even choose which of those remainder 2 maps they'll have to play.
I'm not looking forward to the ban phase for Damwon, though what I'm hoping in a scenario like this, they have prepped for these maps behind the scenes and simply have been reluctant to showcase any of them as this has gone on. So let's see exactly what they ban here.
Cafe Gone Clubhouse makes so much sense for Team Liquid. They're going to pick Coastline. That's a really strong pick. That's what I thought they would pick. It is their best map of the 3 that Damwon don't like to play. There goes Chalet. So Damwon leaving Cafe in for, or sorry, they've already taken Cafe out, leaving Cons in for now. Liquid, will they try to go there? When they get to it, Villa banned out next, Oregon or Consulate. I picked Oregon as the decider. Yes, it is. So those are going to be the maps. I predicted this map pool 100% correctly, actually. Go me.
Look at you, stats nerd.
I do think Chalet was a super strong pick from Damwon Kia. It's one that Liquid have done all right on, but they haven't gotten a lot of chances to play recently, and Damwon are very strong there. So I think Damwon did the best they could given their circumstances, but this map pool still heavily favors Liquid.
Also, if they have any Chalet strats, they haven't shown them at this event either.
True.
You have to go back into the APAC games to actually see it, and you're not seeing it against international competition. So Damwon Kia at least has hidden something on this map. Also, fun fact, this is the first time we are seeing Coastline here on the main stage. It really has not been a popular map at this event.
Nope, we've seen it a couple of times in groups. We've seen, obviously, some very pivotal maps be played here. I believe the most infamous Coastline map that we can never remember was the 22-round baller 12-10 between G2 and Team Empire at the 2019 Six Invitational.
Yeah.
So this already has like a lot of history and a lot of pedigree behind it. So it's nice that we get the opportunity to finally see it. There are 2 very aggressive teams on stage. One of them is a team that could probably already contend against to be the next world champions, and the other is a very aggressive squad that has found a little bit more structure over the course of this tournament. They've been a little bit more calculated than just like a raw APAC team coming out of nowhere whose primary objective is get in the building as fast as possible and get frags. There is more to Damwon Kia than just like making it as black and white as that. So for a map like this, it should be very entertaining, especially for this matchup in particular. And
to explain Coastline a little bit more for the fans of Team Liquid who may not have been following them for too long, it is going to be our first map. They went flawless 5-0 on Coastline throughout Stage 1. They started Stage 2 by losing it to Santos, which is not a fantastic team inside of Brazil, but since then it's been a fine map. They beat Invictus on Day 2 at this tournament on Coastline, so they're strong on this map. They should be looking to win it.
Well, we have a lot of quarterfinals to go through today, guys, so we're going to get right into this first game, and we'll give you some good analysis after map 1 is complete. And to bring you the action are going to be Blue and Stokes, whose duo name I can only assume is Blokes.
Thank you very much, Monty. I don't know if we ever actually came to a formal decision on that,
You know,
to be honest with you.
I don't think we ever came to an agreement, but if Monte Cristo gives you a name, you probably have to stick with it. So we're blokes today, folks. That's how it's going to work. But John is usually the one that handles this, so I'm going to shut up and let him do his thing.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, we've got our first quarterfinal of the major coming up, and it's bound to be an interesting one. I've become a fan of Damwon Gaming Kia after seeing their performance here in the groups, but I am very, very worried about this matchup.
Me too.
And it's right from the first map as well. Let's talk about why. We're going into Coastline. A couple reasons why I'm worried. This is a Latin American playground, as we've seen time and time again. You generally don't want to take a Latin American team to this map, as it usually doesn't end well. As far as Damwon Gaming Kia is concerned as well, this map is their permaban. They have banned it 32 times.
He didn't stutter.
In the previous few months. So we have
32.
to hope they've been hiding something, because we haven't not seen it at any previous point in this group stage either. In fact, Damwon Gaming Kia only played 2 maps out of the 7-map pool during the group stage.
We've looked at a lot of stats over the years together, my friend, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone ban out one particular map 32 times. So very interesting to see, but obviously that leaves a lot to offer up here on Coastline, as it is an action-packed map between 2 action-packed teams. I'm extremely excited for this one.
Yeah, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Coastline will be our first map. I will admit, I don't want to make things seem too bleak here for Damwon Gaming Kia. The odds definitely do get better as we get further into the map pool, but starting out on such a drastic difference between those 2 teams is what is certainly going to worry me. Either way, though, we're getting into the bans now, so let's take a peek at what these 2 teams are going to knock out as Damwon Gaming gets the first and final bans. Liquid will get the 2 center ones. No surprises at the start, as Thatcher is gone yet again.
Get those EMPs off the board, and it's a little bit more difficult for Liquid, but as we all know, Coastline is not a map that you particularly need hard breach, so there's going to be some other things that are prioritized here for Liquid. They're going to take away the Zofia, which range soft breach, and one of the best soft breaches in the game at the moment, so just trying to force Damwon Kia away from that pick. But away from that, they will also be removing Valkyrie.
Valkyrie, another one that makes pretty much perfect sense for what we've been seeing in the meta as of late. This is a very open map with a lot of potential to chuck those cameras towards the outside, so want to get rid of that. And Mira as well. Mira activates the capability to play into the theater site, although recently we've seen teams take up new strategies in that site, which doesn't necessarily require Mira as much, but as far as the past is concerned, that's generally why she was banned out. We still find her useful on a couple of the other sites as well, so it tends to be a pretty common ban.
Always an extremely useful operator that can just be a nuisance when it comes to the offensive game plan. Try and take people out of those black mirror positions, but not gonna have to deal with that obviously as we get into round 1, folks. Damwon Kia obviously going to be on defense, Liquid on offense here. We're headed towards Hookah.
Let's take a look and see how this initial starting defense will work out for Damwon Gaming. No huge surprises when it comes to the operator lineup here, mainly looking for utility mitigation overall, though we are going to get a 6-pick away from the Jaeger, an interesting one that we know that Damwon Gaming Key is going to bring a very aggressive playstyle to the table. Okay, maybe not as aggressive here, as we did have an Oryx soft lock for a second there by Woogieman, but it's changed up to a smoke instead to reignite a little bit more of that delay potential.
Yeah, I feel like Woogie was baiting us there for just a split second, but either way, gonna have both the SAS operators out here as well as some other people to tag along, so...
And we do have our community poll, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to head over onto our social channels and submit your vote. We want to know from you guys who is going to be winning this first quarterfinal of the 6 Major Mexico. Be sure to submit your vote. We'll have the results on the analysis desk a little bit later on.
Going to be a fun one in between these 2, and the best part about main stage, folks, is that we have best of 3s. So no matter what happens here on Coastline, we will indeed at least go to our follow-up map. So it should be interesting between these 2, but as Liquid are about to get out the gates, we're going to see what they have going on for the very first time here.
Yeah, best of 3s. A good thing for the viewers, maybe not so good of a thing for Damwon Gaming when we look into their map pool. Easily the biggest issue I foresaw, but this is the first test of it, so let's see if they're going to be able to get over that. The aggression immediately going to start to potentially roll out here. Rin was trying to work his way out through that front door there, but is going to get spotted pretty quickly trying to take down the barricade. Paulo will throw those shots in and pretty quickly send Rin reeling back deeper into the map.
Good overall strategy here for Liquid. Really like the Yana matched up with the Jackal here just to try and keep everyone condensed. Want to make sure that they have as much information as possible on these Damwon Gaming Kia members. And Rin actually already outside and going to lose his life as well to PSK. Very awkward situation there for him.
Thought he was going to be able to get back in quickly as well, considering he did do some pre-damage onto that barricade earlier, but obviously flubbed that up a little bit trying to work his way back in, so ends up going down as the first player here for Damwon Gaming. This is another issue that I was worried worried about, I know I'm being a little bit negative here for Damwon Gaming, but unfortunately it was tough to look at it that way doing my prep last night. Liquid is very good at countering this incredibly aggressive strategy, especially that Damwon Gaming brings out on their defensive side. And so far, Liquid are countering it very well inside of this first round. Woogieman and Rin, two of the stars for Damwon Gaming, both down already. We have to see what the rest of the team can potentially leverage here as we enter the halfway point in the round.
And you can see DWG continuing their playstyle as well. Cody moves forward, ends up popping that hatch. So he has to get downstairs. He has downstairs inside of office. Doesn't have a nitro cell or anything along those lines, so obviously just going to be playing for the control there and possibly a pick to come later on. And that's what we have expected out of Damwon Gaming Kia for most of this. But as we expect from Liquid, it's cool, calm, and collected. They're working the map extremely well, especially from the roof. Already gotten 2 of their picks from outside, so working things extremely well going into the last minute.
Having slowed down a little bit because of the main presence from Damwon Gaming Kia coming down from the first floor, still remaining very mobile, and as a result of that, a little bit more difficult to read. So Liquid has taken a much slower approach to the second minute of the round here to make sure they don't make any mistakes and don't miss anything in terms of checking their corners as they work their way further into the map. Sexy Kate does need to take out the default, but that'll ignite an aggressive potential for Katsang, who swings at the perfect time to take Sexy Cake down and finally start to bring Damwon Gaming back into the round. It's not just going to be Katsang either. Yas as well picks up a 3rd kill against this team from Liquid here, suddenly turning the odds around, bringing us into a 2v3 and putting Liquid on the back foot with only 35 seconds left in the round. Now Palu is going to be able to equalize that, however he quickly goes down as well. Coded swings out from the hookah. Moringa here, now left alone in the 1v2. He still has to try and find some way to swing it aggressively, but on the rappel with only 20 seconds left, there's not going to be a whole lot of play potential for Moringa, so Damwon Gaming may have done it on the first round here. That unweighted aggression, really to the bitter end, working out for them as they suddenly turn it around against Liquid in the final moments. We'll see what Moringa can do here. Still has 10 seconds to move in and make a play. Nitro will deal minor damage to him. Gets a good trace on the Coda, but not enough for the kill. He has to hop over, and that's going to lead to his death as Damwon Gaming Tia take the first round.
DWG, the playstyle that we expected from them, and it's going to work out inside of the first round. They have 2 big picks go down, but as we know, these are people that are not afraid of a gunfight, and instead use the information that Liquid gives them to their fullest extent and able to get the picks back, turn it into that 3v3, but it was definitely not a 3v3 after that moment. Immediately ends up going down to the 2 versus 1 after that. Liquid just not able to fight out of the thick of it. And once again, Damwon Gaming Kia able to turn the script on its head with only 1 minute remaining in the round.
Damwon Gaming continues to surprise us here. A great first round performance. They're turning around the 3v5. That'll lock down the upstairs site. They're going to head right back down into the usual expected second, though, as we're going to be going for the kitchen and service defense. Still looking for a lot of that mitigation, mainly through the Womai as well as the Aruni. We are going to see the Oryx brought in this time for Woogieman. And you guys as well, if you're interested, you go ahead into the Rainbow Six Share store, or just the Rainbow Six store. Check out all these Rainbow Six Share skins, including the new Team Liquid Ace skin. Remember, all sales directly support your favorite teams, so feel free to check that out if you're looking to deck out some of your favorite operators.
And there's plenty of cool skins across the board inside of that shop, so make sure you guys stop by. But this round could get pretty interesting, John, especially with Woogieman's changeup onto the Oryx. This is going to provide them a lot more rotation throughout the map instead of the standard 2 staircases that you would get, as well as his ability to just constantly transfer in between the 2 floors because of the amount of hatches around the areas. So we'll see how they want to play this, but I'm expecting Woogieman to get some solid longevity out of this pick.
We'll see for sure. Damwon Gaming was able to hide quite a few of their players on the first floor inside of that previous round, even though that was not obviously the primary target for Team Liquid, and then reignite those players' aggressive potentials a few moments later in the final minute or so of the round there to finally turn it back against Team Liquid, who took a very slow and measured approach and went well up until that final minute when Damwon were finally able to take control for themselves and, of course, take the first round. Aggression still very much going to be the name of the game here for Damwon Gaming. We've got multiple members of the team continuing to wrap all over that first floor there and open up potential for the early fight here as soon as they figure out where exactly Team Liquid are going to start to throw their early control. It's looking like mainly towards theater here as we can see quite a few players, and OPSK nearly getting caught through a foot shot there coming out the front door, I do believe. Was caught on camera, so was stuck in the animation. Took him a couple extra seconds to get out of there, but he does survive at just over 25 HP.
Difficult round to start here for Liquid as PSK will take quite a bit of damage, but still be able to at least exist for now, and those air jabs obviously going to be pretty damn important when it comes down to it. Either way, though, Damwon Gaming Kia still holding things down inside of sight. They have their penthouse setup going on upstairs. We talked about previously how they only change things up for Woogieman So bring in the Oryx. Everybody else still stuck as very similar operators. Still have the Rooney gates up top. The laser gate will get eaten up, but he still has some discs around. But not before Yas gets the initial pick as well. Rin still trying to hold onto the area, but will start to rotate out towards White. Also, remember, with the Rooney, able to make these massive holes here inside of theater. Oh, that's going to be a perfect call sign for Moringa to start firing down from Guitar. But the limit here for Damwon Gaming Kia already reached on the top floor. They've got it down to a minute here, and they've already got their pick, so they choose to back off.
Not only is it any pick as well, it's going to be Ness, which was going to be used by Team Liquid here to try and figure out where the more mobile members of Damwon were going to be playing into any sort of late round situation. Not to mention their Nomad, the actual anti-roam as well, is down at 25 HP. Probably not the end of the world for that one, as they're more than likely going to be able to get all of those air jabs out if they haven't already. But still, missing Ness. Certainly not going to be a winning formula here for Team Liquid, considering they have not been able to trade that out yet. But just as I speak about it, Palu picks one up here. Katsang goes down as the first to die in this round for Damwon Gaming, and that brings us down to a 4v4 with 40 seconds left.
It really feels as though Palu and the rest of Liquid are attempting to figure this out through the second round here. Don't want to give up too much. Just want to see how Damwon Gaming Kia tick. So far, though, they've been able to trade things out. Stacks here towards service entrance, but obviously a very close angle adopted by Damwon Gaming Kia, as well as they're holding down the entirety of the east side of the building, every door having a Damwon Gaming Kia body on it. As we get into 15 seconds, something's got to give for Liquid. Moringa with a kill up top, but Coda's going to be able to trade it back. M590 in hand now, very dangerous weapon, deals some damage, but not before Rin takes down one. Coda will double up, and Moringa takes down Yas. It's a 1 versus 2 for Moringa, but no time, and also a death is going to be 2 rounds for DWG.
DWG looking solid right now on their permaban of all maps here, surprising all of us with these first 2 rounds here, bringing a certainly solid aggressive play style to the map. And what's going on?
I just want to get this out here really quickly.
Go ahead.
If Hound Dog and the rest of them played through all of APAC, through all of a group stage, and they hit 3 maps the entire time, I am so unbelievably proud of this team, because that is exactly what you should be doing. That is so unbelievably intelligent. It is boggling my mind right now. But we're only 2 rounds deep right now, so let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But still, massive compliments to DWG so far for the playstyle, especially up against a team like Liquid. You guys probably do understand, but some of you may not understand what Liquid has to deal with in LATAM, especially with teams like Ninjas and Pajamas and Furia existing inside of there, and the aggressive play styles that they adopt. So right now, this has just been a fantastic showing from DWG.
Liquid having a really rough time getting control over some of this early aggression. They are eventually handling it, don't get me wrong, but it's taking so much time off the clock. They do not have enough to both gather intel and go for the outright execute onto the site. And even then, Damwon are still finding chances to play more aggressively here. Rin having some trouble trying to knock out that debris in the corner. He's going to say, nope. That's it. We're just going to put it over here instead.
Yeah, poor Rin trying to find a place for that BP, or BC, excuse me. But either way, finally gets that put down. And we're about to get Liquid out and onto the field. So far, Damwon Gaming Kia still going to keep things changing up every once in a while. Obviously going to keep the mute here. Coded still on the smoke. Woogie Man going to actually keep the Oryx, surprisingly enough. Didn't see too much from him inside the last round as he did get taken out, but that doesn't mean that he can't change things up this time around. But not before Liquid drone him out very early instead of Office, so obviously the jig is up, and they more than likely know that he's going to be trying to traverse some hatches throughout the round.
Palu, the first to look for a bit of an aggressive take here against Woogie Man, but it's all a distraction as well. There was a whole other player taking up the angle outside. Palu eventually finds the winning angle to just outright eliminate Woogie Man. So he's going to go down here with no kills to show on the inside of this one. A solid start again for Team Liquid. We saw the same thing back in round number 1, so this doesn't necessarily translate into anything significant just as of yet here. PSK is on the hunt for the second, though, and at minimum will negate that rotate potential as he throws the air jab down on the rotate into security and now confirms that player's position with the drone going in to see that it's Rin.
This round could be quite a bit different here for Liquid. Well, they're at least going to be able to start off with Office. Obviously need to hold things down up top inside of Aqua, just make sure no one can possibly flank them, but this will give them a staging ground. Inside of that last round, you guys did indeed see that they didn't get too much of that. They eventually got penthouse control, but not too much abuse coming through from Moringa on those angles. Just could not get anything done. DWG playing forward inside of the building and not giving Liquid any space to work with on that bottom level. Now, though, Liquid Trying to push out from Office. Oh, almost an initial frag inside of security, but the shots go wide as Rin gets tracked. And this is going to continue on here for a little while, so he'll have to guard his rear and wait for Liquid to try and make their forward move. Obviously, already getting the pick onto Woogieman is a positive boon, but with a minute remaining, things now start to get risque, just like we saw in previous rounds.
Moringa continuing to look for that second frag opportunity, but has not been able to locate it just yet. Damwon Gaming are taking semi-aggressive positions here, but at the timing on that one there too. Moringa literally getting an eye onto his opponent just as he ducked down and unfortunately lost the angle. Still going to try to trace it through the soft paneling into Billiards, but still cannot find the winning shot against Katsang. He's going to be able to escape through over into Billiards and hold that aggressive position against any sort of aqua push we might get.
Grenade in here for Paula. Katsang still able to hold things down up top. Hatch reinforce here inside of Hookah as well, so we'll have to go for a vibes play instead, but chooses to hold on to base. Rin, oh, what a spot as well. Stands on top of the couch. A smoke grenade hits Paula in the face. He'll take some damage from that, but not before Sexy Cake is able to slip in behind. It was all a cruel ploy just to gain their confidence. Sexy Cake ends up trying to back things off. Yas with the Nitro Cell out. That Nitro Cell is going to go wide. Nesk finally with some frags, but it's down into the 2v2. Somebody has to adopt this case immediately and start trying to attempt to put this down. It's going to be Paula, as Nesk will oversight this process. Katsang trying to find a way to get in behind Nesk. Nesk with one. Can he get the follow-up shot? He can't. Katsang will win it out. Can he get the second one here? He knows the swing's there, but Paula will shut it down, and Liquid with some nice frags finally to get around on the board.
Liquid finally controlling the situation there, baiting this APAC team into these more aggressive early fights, only to allow for another player on Liquid to usually establish the winning angle and take them out. We saw that happen at least twice there, especially with Sexy Cake's back push coming from the Cool Vibe stairs down into the back of the Sunrise Bar site, allowing for a much greater capability for the rest of the team to flood in, get that plant down onto the ground, and finally put a round onto the board. Damwon Gaming, though, we're going to head right back upstairs and attempt the Billiards hold next.
Once again, it just seems as though Palu is going to be the most consistent player here for Liquid. I really think that in the moment for Coastline, he's going to be the saving grace for them. We need to see him continue to have an influence over these frags because he's been the person to at least slow down DWG. Obviously, there has been moments where it has been anything but that, but he's at least been given the opportunity to get a couple of these frags and make it to where the roam game, especially for them, isn't as viable. But as we saw inside of that last round, DWG were still able to maintain some form of top control. The beauty of the play there from Liquid, though, is that they knew how much map control they necessarily needed. They strictly only worked Aqua, and that was strictly only from the balcony, a very safe area to be. They transfer that into a Sunrise take. After Sexy Cake finds a hole, he's able to get in behind, get that big frag, and that's where everything starts popping off for Liquid. They start pressuring from every angle, sending people in from Office, and finally able to secure something with that case getting planted.
Much better job at restricting some of the pinch pressure that was coming from off the site as well, specifically Rin's position on the inside of security there. They figured that out much earlier this time. They don't even try to mess with it for the most part either and take a duel against it. They do just throw the air jab down and focus on the execute there. That's obviously the big distraction that could throw Liquid off in the long run if they spend too much time on it. So into the fourth round we go. We'll see if Liquid truly has found the winning formula, or if Damwon Gaming is going to give us another one to surprise us with a third round.
Oh no, John, Rin. I'm so scared. I'm so scared right now. You guys have no idea.
Here's the setup.
Oh no, Rin! Rin, why?
Noodle armed it.
Rin, oh my goodness. Gonna have to get him in baseball or something. We gotta fix this arm right now. I don't know what's going on with that, but unluckily, botched Nitro Cell at the top hatch. Not gonna mean too much for the rest of the initial minute here. Yes, might be going for a spawn kill. Pops the door for service, but nobody on the receiving end here. So Liquid back to bare bones as they'll start working Coastline from the top.
Liquid doing a good job of taking some map control here. Nesk finding himself one of the first fights inside of the round, looking to try and take down Rin, who's falling back. Nice. And what a lock in there from Nesk. Sees the tracers coming through the door, finds the position, and shuts down Rin, giving Liquid that opening kill yet again.
DWG on the back foot, but that doesn't mean that they're going to stop fighting. As we've talked about before inside of their games, absolutely love these aggressive moments where they're down on man count, they're able to equalize right at about that minute time and really give the offense or whatever the opposing team is a lot of trouble when it comes down to it. Whenever you get that equal man count, one's where it becomes viable to trade again, really, as well as utility being missed. So gonna have to try and figure this out. Liquid, though, they're gonna push it one step further. Coded will go down. Woogieman also taking some damage as well. Liquid with a beautiful start here going into the last minute, but that doesn't mean that we aren't gonna hold our breath.
Yeah, it's a very similar situation to what we had transpire back inside of round number 1, where Team Liquid had this same 5v3 advantage and ultimately lost the round as a result of the More unweighted aggression for the Damwon Gaming players coming into the late round, and we're seeing it yet again here. Woogieman gets himself the double as he holds the couch on the inside of Billiards. Palu was able to trade up for one more, so Liquid still maintains the advantage by one player. PSK looking to now trade on the Woogieman, but he's ready for this. The bulletproof camera supporting him as well. However, regardless, PSK and Maring will be able to clean up the last two members of Damwon Gaming Kia and find a second on the board for Liquid.
So a very measured approach from Liquid here up against DWG. DWG with more of a wild style, we'll say, on defense. Really leaning into this frag game, especially from Woogieman here. He'll get his first two of the game, but it's just not going to be enough. So impactless at the end of the day. But honestly, good sign here for Liquid on their offensive side with the way that they're dealing with this map pressure from DWG. We can see that DWG constantly wants to try and fight to the outside of the building. They're always looking for these spawn kills, but Liquid are playing this very close to the chest. I've liked this play style so far from them, as they're not trying to overstep into DWG's territory where they can find a lot of turbulent, things going on, and especially with like those multi-frags that we're seeing again from a myriad of these different APAC players.
A somewhat similar story right now is transpiring as we saw in Liquid's match versus Empire as well, where Liquid also had some slight issues dealing with those aggressive swings and the more aggressive playstyle that was coming out in the earlier part of Empire's defensive half, but they slowly started to lock in on that and adjust their playstyle, very much as we've seen here over these first two rounds for Team Liquid. Obviously dropping those first two, but now picking up the following and looking to try and take the lead on the fifth. So let's see if they can get it done. Damwon Gaming, though, back downstairs yet again, and this site hold was perfect last time. Liquid wasn't even able to get close, so we'll see if things will yield as much success.
Yes, indeed it was, my friend, but we'll say this about Liquid. They have one of the best mentals in the world that I've ever had, the opportunity to commentate. They're one of these teams where even when they are down, they're not going to give up, and there's always something that they're going to be changing to try and, deal with the opponent's aggression or whatever the play is for that opposing squad. Liquid always trying to figure out what the next move is instead of getting angry or just frustrated with the situation. It's something I've always really, really appreciated about their playstyle. And that just comes with the amount of time that this roster has together. I mean, we're talking, I don't even know at this moment. I think this same squad has been together for almost 3-4 years at this moment. Truly incredible to see these guys come so far here at this tourney as well. But DWG, obviously no slouches. We're about 40 seconds in here now, folks, as Liquid has made their way to the top of Coastline. And no, this is not the updated Coastline, obviously, because you guys have more than likely been playing on the TTS. This is still the regular, degular, schmegular Coastline that we all know and somewhat love and somewhat hate. It just depends on your opinion of it.
So the roster in its current form, just in case anybody was curious on the specifics there, has been this way since May of 2019. And prior to that, every single member of the roster joined up in 2018.
Man.
So it's been a while.
It's been a while.
No. Absolutely not. Rin gonna get overwhelmed here by a frag grenade as well as flashes getting chucked his direction, so quickly falls back. X-Cairo is going to take out the reinforcement he's being used, but doesn't matter. Rin still able to leverage a kill, but Moringa continuing to spam him down through that very same wall we saw him die to earlier on in a previous round. But at least this time, he's able to leverage a 1-to-1 advantage, so we'll be even at the halfway point of the round.
Can't believe you won't let me see their own broadcast. I actually think I got the band wrong. Either way, though.
Yeah, I don't think that's
continuing forward, past those moments. Liquid with a pick here as well as DWG with one of their own. So we're down to a 4 versus 4. Liquid still trying to find some things here on the roof, and you can't exactly blame them. There's still quite a few DK members around the area. One inside of Lug, and also a down here onto Nesk from the Nitro Cell. Very unfortunate for him as he was just crossing the plane between Guitar and Penthouse and just ill-advised in the moment. Seconds later would have been okay, moments earlier would have been all right as well, but unfortunate for him. Katsang starting to take some damage inside of lobby as well. DWG doing a very good job of stalling out this Liquid offense going into the last 40 seconds.
So as we approach those final few seconds here, obviously Nesk has been retrieved since he went down in a pretty defensive position for Team Liquid there. They already had pretty good control over at entry points, so not going to be too much of an issue to bring him back up. But now, pushing things forward past the 4v4, this is where it's going to get really tough for Liquid. They've not been able to gather a whole lot of intel, so these Damwon Gaming Kia players are free to make as aggressive a plays as they really want to here, and we just see that. They pick up another frag here as well. They're going to try to throw an air jab in. It's going to get eaten up by a magnet, unfortunately, and thrown away into the bin of history. Now we see the push coming back in. Woogieman has also taken an upstairs position here. Palu is going to be able to fight back against that, and trade of a Katsang comes in for probably what's going to be our final kill here. Palu on Repel. He doesn't have a way to play this, unfortunately. Time's going to run out, and Damwon Gaming find another round and maintain their lead at 3-2.
Well, it has indeed been a while since they got around, so that's a good thing for them. They'll be able to at least tie things up if Liquid get this next round, splitting things 3 versus 3. And by the way, it just popped in my head, it's Stained. That's the song. That's the people that make that song. But besides that point, Liquid once again running into some problematic issues going into that last minute. And honestly, I believe it's because DWG was able to find a pick early on here. It's a 4 versus 4 going into that last minute. We know it's going to be gunfight heavy, and they're able to get a lot done inside of that department as well. And look at this scoreboard right now for DWG, folks. This is something that we have not seen from them throughout this tournament. Look how equal this is. I mean, we have 3 people with 4 kills.
Yeah, we've had a kind of mixed performance when it comes to the individual players on Damwon Gaming Kia. I think Rin probably being the most varied amongst the players that we've seen there. You know, obviously the first game
he's very hot or cold.
Yeah, very much either top of the scoreboard or bottom of the scoreboard.
And there's
from what
no
we've seen for the most part. Yeah, very much the case for the group stage performance here. But it's holding up with the rest of his teammates so far today, as we can see with some of the other players like Boogeyman as well as Yas, who I think was really the highlight, at least from the games versus NIP in the group stage, where a lot of hype got built up for this team and their potential to go further here in the playoffs as well.
Well, this just honestly makes me happy to see. I thought walking into Coastline that this was kind of a risky pick for them up against Liquid because, you know, I mean, we all see the way that Liquid is handling this map control. They're doing a very good job of starting things off on this top floor and applying pressure and making it difficult for DWG to move around Coastline, and that's really what it's all about. I mean, at the end of the day, folks, this thing is a big donut with a lot of windows in it, and you're just trying to make sure that they can't cross these 2 technical bridges, which would be VIP Hall as well as luggage. These are 2 of the hot spots around this top floor that you're going to continue to see the Liquid try to get angles through to capture these DWG members. But, you know, with that in mind, that's also a positive thing for DWG because they've been able to avoid this for the most part. Early on, Liquid were getting a lot of picks from the roof, but they've since learned their lesson, and they're not giving it up.
And I think it's important to note, once again, why Liquid are starting to fall behind a little bit when they don't always get this opening pick. They seem to rely on that player advantage very heavily because with that, they can take more risks. They can afford to throw someone into a room there, potentially trade that out while still maintaining the advantage as long as they go for the 1-for-1. If they're not, if they're on even terms with Damwon Gaming here, that aggressive playstyle from Damwon Gaming usually has been getting the best of Liquid when it comes to just the direct swings, the 1v1s that result from that. So Liquid, I think, is a little bit hesitant right now to actually try and push forward into some of these situations when they're at a disadvantage because they don't want to fall further behind. And unfortunately, they are not able to properly leverage the intel in order to make that push itself forward. They're going to start well, though, on this round once again. A great nade comes out from Moringa as he's constantly picking up that opening kill here for the team, and he's going to take down Yas as well.
Oh, Katsing starting to take a lot of damage here from Sexy Cake. Out on Rafters. Wait, hold on. I gotta say it properly. Sexy Cake. Gotta say that properly there for our friends over in Britain. Hey, man, you gotta remember Des and Ace as well. One of the great duos that we got to see here at this LAN, though. Liquid able to get a big frag here. Speaking of frag grenades, don't exactly know where that was able to roll in from. I don't know if he got that through the vent hole up top on the roof or that's exactly what happened, actually.
Cool
yeah, so unfortunately, no Amai disc or, you know, no ADSs here, as neither of these operators have been brought, only have the laser gate. So unpreventable in that moment, and some luck on Liquid's side here for round 6.
Liquid, though, despite that first kill, have been very slow to proceed since then. Only really still trying to gather intel with their drone work here. Until they've used quite a few of those as they've lost 40% of their overall drone count. There's still plenty to use here in the late round, but hunting for a second pick is going to allow Katsang an opportunity to trade back as he takes down Moringa and re-equalizes the fight here. Palu also still trying to push in from downstairs, but the main bulk of the play is coming in from the hookah doorway. Nesk is going to find the next one as he takes up the rappel position on the big window. Tries to look for a second, but again, Katsang wins out that fight and takes down Nesk to even things yet again. Rin going to get aggressive. The drone did not spot him, or at least the intel didn't come out there, so he's going to be able to take down the downstairs assault coming in from Palu, and now all that's left for Liquid is the push from Hookwa.
You can just see the map control here from DWG working now, but not before Liquid finally are able to get their own frag back. PSK knocking down Coded, but still down into the 2 versus 2. Case currently on Sexy Cake. He's going to need some assistance here from PSK at Hookador, but Ren from down low, a lot of damage, impact out, but it won't get the splash that he wanted. PSK's still down, and that means Sexy Cake all alone. Katsang able to get it done. I believe a quad on the round for Katsang as well, and that's going to be a 4-2 split, and not only a 4-2 split, John, that's a 4-2 defensive split on Coastline.
Definitely some impressive stuff for Damwon Gaming. Again, 30 32 bans on this map, including at this event as well, prior to coming here and as well at here during our group stage. This was the perma ban from Damwon Gaming Kia, and they have a massive lead coming off the defensive half here against Team Liquid, a team from the Latin American region who usually dominates on this map when they play a team from any other region.
Man, this game is making me wake up bright and early today, let me tell you. My energy was quite low coming into this, I'll be honest, but over time in this side of this half, it's raised the vibes, because right now, DWG have an opportunity on this offensive side to start playing spoils for Liquid. We all assumed that this was going to be a 2-0, especially you, John. We were talking about this before broadcast. Like, I think this is going to be a very straightforward 2-0.
Especially once I saw the maps, I was like, this is a quick 2-0 for Liquid, no chance. I was like, Damwon are out, but clearly, I was very wrong. Damwon have come to play, they've come to fight, and so far they are winning that battle against Team Liquid here. Liquid on the attacking side, once again, having issues. They're trying to take the direct duel in that last round versus Katsang constantly, never seeming to having the utility to force him out of his position. So trying to take it via gun duel and just allowing Krim to pick up so many different kills. Well, I'll see how Liquid will try to play into their defensive side a bit differently here. The sides have changed. Team Liquid starting, of course, with that usual upstairs hold'em for Damwon Gaming. Obviously a very different side for them as well. So let's see what their attack is going to show us.
Indeed. Obviously, I know that we have been harping on gunfights quite a bit, especially when it comes to DWG this LAN, but the biggest thing here is, folks, especially for the defensive side that we just saw from them, their ability to hold down map control and know what Liquid want to do next is the reason that they're able to play so well into this playstyle. Liquid are trying to do things on very low time, and it's not working out for them, but now it is. At least not in low time, obviously, though. Liquid will get a pick early on onto Rin, who's been pretty problematic for them throughout.
Pretty sure that was a single bullet too, so some nice stuff coming out
that's
there.
all he needed.
Yeah, pretty much. Direct headshot onto Rin right there, just a casual little tap, and then he walks away. Also the lineup here, potentially might be able to catch one of the Team Liquid players if he continues to wander into that territory. But the
hard
silhouette
angle to fight as well.
Silhouette still going to leave some safety for the member of Team Liquid. Meanwhile, though, Katsang, as well as at least one other member of Damwon, trying to put the pressure onto Moringi, tries to go for the timing shot again, and nearly gets it, but Coded wins out the fight this time. And Damwon Gaming trade us back down into a 4v4.
Oh, Sexy Cake. Able to at least get some shots down range, but yes, not going to take any damage here. And we've only had 1 minute and 20 seconds off of the board. Only 2 picks going down, 1 for each side. DWG trying to get some control around this hookah space here, but as we can see, Liquid very aware of the situation as they're prepared for anything that's going to go on here. Stuns in, will make Nesk back off of Vase, but not before he pushes himself back up 5 stairs, simply holding onto the rotation here and seeing what's next for DWG. Selma charges down, so Vase is going to get a little bit more difficult to play, but it's nothing that Nesk can't handle with that 1.5. We know how consistent he can be, especially when it comes to multiple targets. So this door flood starts to come in. It's probably going to be him as the point man to try and handle this situation. DWG begin to burn some ADSs as well as they're trying to get some more Selmas down and break up these walls, giving Liquid less area to work with.
Good find again from Nesk as Liquid are playing in a very passive but also very harsh angles against any of these potential pushes coming out from Damwon Gaming. They take a slight edge here. We'll see if it remains that way. The E1D charge going in, but nobody realizes Sexy Cake is hiding just below the default cam. That's another one for Team Liquid here, as they're looking good to rebound so far in this first round of the defense, but Coded puts another kill on the board for Damwon Gaming before also going down himself to PSK. Yas, the last hope alive here. He knows he's got a player behind the bar. Can't find the shot, though, as he swings. They're coming out left and right from Sexy Cake as he shuts it down, and Liquid take the first defensive round for themselves.
That was a nasty shot there from Sexy Cake. Literally,
I don't even know if he was expecting that last one to hit right there.
Yeah, it was literally one bullet. I'm pretty sure that was able to escape over the Sunrise bar and ended up tapping him in the head. But either way, Liquid actually winning that round in very similar fashion to how DWG have been handling theirs. They prioritize holding that bottom floor, and it's an oversight from DWG. They don't drone it out. They simply just try and pop an E1D and push in through Sunrise, and it's quite ill-advised as, well, the line gets taken down and DWG no longer really have the man count to fight how they want to.
Palu baiting the frost pick there for a moment. Not going to end up with it, though, as it is going to get switched over towards an alibi. So the composition not going to be too surprising. Very heavy on the traps here, though, should be noted, coming on the defense for Team Liquid right now. They want to give Damwon Gaming Kia as many opportunities to mess up and miss something as possible. So in the event they run into it, it'll act as more of an early warning more than anything for Liquid and give them the appropriate opportunity to react and hopefully shut down the push from Damwon Gaming.
So wouldn't you know, Ace loved my impression of him, but Dez, not so much.
No?
No, not so much. I might have to work work on it a little bit. You know, we'll reassess this later on down the line.
You get tweets right now?
but either way. So for DWG, they still obviously have the opportunity to hold on to this lead here. Liquid trying to shore this up within striking distance to tie as well. They're going to be headed towards Kitchen, changing a couple things up inside of the lineup. Really like this Legion pick here for Moringa. To give them a little bit more info as well as the ability to slow down DWG if they do something drastic inside of the mid-round. Just make sure those Goo Mines are around some spaces to make sure that they can't obviously try and get aggressive.
Damwon Gaming move their way forward ever so slowly here. Just going to go for the usual. Jump in from the roof here more than likely and try to take some control from there. So that'll be the usual push point that these attackers normally try to go for. Obviously, there's going to be a very slow process of waiting the aggression over in through service as well. And that, you can see the rappel is set up now from Yas to do that. A quick opening of the barricade. He'll check on in his going 6 charge to try and deal with utility that's positioned deeper in the site. More than likely a
beautiful
man. Sexy Cake again. Finding these beautiful lineups here from Liquid. He's not the only one either. Moringa doing it on the last round. Sexy Cake will make the quick transition as he is going to lose part of his reinforced wall out there in the hallway, but he still has the theater to play from.
It just blows my mind how far professional players think ahead sometimes. He knows he's going to come and try and get this 90 position with the Selma charge, so he just plays DJ.
Rin still thinks someone's there too. Rin's still trying to pre-fire into that one.
Well, listen, if you have this amount of bullets, I mean, just look across the board here. Yas has 214 bullets. It's 214 attempts to hit somebody in the noggin. That's how you got to look at it. But Yas is going to use a couple more rounds in order to achieve that. Has some issues now, though. Knows Moringa's around the space, and oh no, Moringa loses it. Yas senses the move. He's able to take down 2 inside of Sunrise. DWG jump ahead here at the halfway mark.
Yas catching on to a slight mistake, I believe, from Team Liquid on the Banshee placement. It was a little bit too far from the door, so he was able to waltz right in and take that hard angle against the pillar on the inside of Sunrise bar there to set up the opportunity for those 2 kills. Great stuff again from Damwon to sneak these opportunities through, but now they have to carry it forward and leverage that advantage into a round win for themselves. Still a 4v3, Liquid can very easily bounce back from that. They still are holding a lot of aggressive positions across the map, or we could really see them start to turn the tide as well here. And with a minute left, anything is possible.
Absolutely, my friend. Lots of ways that this could possibly break down, and it's really up to Palu right now to try and convince us otherwise of this situation. EE1D out, and oh, it's just going to be so problematic for Palu. Really no opportunity to try and fight back there. Rin with so much information as well as some solid angle holds there. Very difficult gunfight for Palu, but either way, Liquid down into the 2 versus 4. So much time for DWG to still work the map as well, and this is where some things are going to be quite troublesome for them. This vertical play especially going to be affecting PSK. They need to try and get some frags back, but I highly doubt it's going to be coming in any big possible way here soon, especially as DWG simply just waiting to see what they can get done inside of this site. At least get the Gemini in there for Yas, get some information out as Liquid trying to find their initial pick, and it's going to be an easy kill for Rin. Simply hops in the back door, looking for the second one. Rin will get that as well, and DWG hop ahead by 2 once again.
Just a fragging round right there coming out for Damwon Gaming. Kia, especially for Rin, just hops his way in there, taking out players one by one at the very end of it. Beautiful execution once again from the Damwon Gaming Kia roster coming in there, and a very well-deserved 5-3 lead now. We are going to go into a pause. I believe that's Team Liquid's tactical. They have to figure out what the heck is going wrong here.
Well, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it. Once again, we're having issues where, you know, DWG just find these multi-frags and put Liquid into a really bad spot. This is something that Liquid usually doesn't have an issue with dealing with because their refrags are so strong. But right now, DWG are simply outclassing them inside of gunfights. And then obviously it gets into this moment where Liquid have a very stressful round. Like, we even saw that inside of that 2v4. They're still simply trying to figure out which direction they're going to come from. And Rin just hops inside a kitchen window. That's like the most straightforward play you can possibly make in that moment, and he still gets a 2K. So it's just very difficult for them right now.
It's like the speed, but at the same time the sneakiness that we're getting these plays up from Damwon Gaming Kia, such as that push into the Sunrise bar right there, where they were able to walk.
Surgical aggression.
Yep, able to walk right past the Banshee trap that was set up, or the Banshee that was set up there in the middle of the Sunrise bar site.
You sent your Banshee a foot to the left, you fool.
And to be fair, it was actually probably like in a fine position, but I think it affected him to such a little degree that if anyone was watching Sunrise there, they probably didn't notice it because it happened so quickly. So he takes up that pillar position and then just waits. It's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna wait for someone to peek me now. And then he gets an opportunity for the first one. Didn't even know the second player was there if he caught his reaction, but still was able to adjust, pick up the second kill, and continue to push an advantage forward for his team. Really great stuff from Damwon Gaming. Love the play style once again.
I'm honestly addicted. I'm addicted to this play style. Like every time that we get off a broadcast, I'm sitting there like, why didn't I play like this like 2 years ago? I could have like so many more diamond charms. Like, what am I doing with my life? But I mean, these guys have just been so fantastic to cast throughout the group stage, and they're showing up on main stage as well, which just makes me so very happy for the APAC region overall, especially up against the team like Liquid.
Rank's about to be a little different after this tournament, maybe.
Oh man, if you thought ranked was bad now, oh, you have no idea. They're gonna be like, well, Rin did it. Like, I'm like, okay, well,
Clearly
I can't argue that. Like,
if Rin can be an Ash main, I could be one too.
That's what I used to say about Nesk. Nesk is the whole reason that I have Ash and Jaeger as my most played operators.
We'll see if Nesk and the rest of Team Liquid are going to be able to complete the rebound. Keep in mind, this is a map choice they very much wanted to go into here, and it's only the first of our 3 maps we'll need to play into as well. So if Damwon Gaming get this first map and get a good start, they're looking pretty good to potentially battle through the rest of this one and maybe even take the whole series.
Before we get too deep into this round here, I want you to remind them of how many times DWG have banned this map.
32.
Never played it.
Literally in every single matchup. This was their permaban prior to like 20 minutes ago when this map started.
32 times, and well, an extra kill for Sexy Cake here as well. As Rin will get taken down, that's obviously going to be a big thing here for Liquid. Sexy Cake trying to open up that playbook wide. You can see how forward he's been playing inside of these last 2 rounds. He wants this initial pick to try and slow up DWG, but they're anything but slow when it comes down to it. Always trying to find an opportunity to get a frag and equalize. This time around, though, looks like they're going more direct. Currently sitting right outside of Towels or Mud, whatever you guys choose to call it at home, with some smoke babes coming in, just holding up the door. They're going to choose to play patiently, but oh no, now problems coming in as well as Nesk will pick up Woogie Man, knocking us down into a 5 versus 3.
This is one department where Damwon Gaming Kia has not been able to control the situation so far on their attack. It's 3 rounds in a row now where Liquid have gotten the opening pick, and at least 2 of them they've been able to push that further, as we're seeing now, down into a 5v3. Nesk, though, ready for potentially a 3rd kill if he can get himself the engagement versus Katsang, but Katsang has been fairly decent, to be fair, from the other side of this equation, but has been fairly decent at winning these types of fights. Let's see if he can do it once again. We'll need to be a bit more aggressive on the angle if he wants to potentially take the duel versus Moringa downstairs, but actually, again, it's a distraction to allow Coda to push forward and take him out instead. Now he's got access to the site. He could go for a plant. That's too bold, though. Nesk is very much ready to stop that. He shuts it down, and now, unfortunately for Damwon Gaming, the case is stuck in the site. They have to try and retrieve it, and that only sends more frags Nesk's way here. In fact, 2 more as he shuts them all down. A great round from him as Team Liquid finally control another one and put them within 1 round's reach of the lead versus DK.
So remember the thing I just said about Nesk like a minute and a half ago?
Yeah.
So in case you guys were wondering why, that's why. Like, one of the most inspirational players of all time inside of Rainbow Six Siege, and has one of the nastiest shots when it comes down to it. And by the way, he's also a dad. Like, how inspired can you possibly be by one person? Able to bring it back for Liquid here, and Liquid short up once again, but this is the problem. We've been on the teeter-totter back and forth in between rounds, and DWG have been able to jut far enough ahead to where they could possibly get this inside of regulation.
Liquid, though, still increasing their aggression a little bit there, specifically with the play from Nesk on the inside of the Sunrise bar, getting much more in the face, much more willing to take the fights versus Damwon Gaming. As we've seen, that has caused a little bit of a bump in the road for them. Only for this 1 round, though, a 2-1 record so far in the half in favor of Team Liquid. I do believe we'll see if they can make that 3-1 on this next round to potentially tie us up at a 5-5 scoreline. Damwon Gaming, though, they pick up this next one. They're going up on 6. That's match point. Only 1 more is needed for them to pull up what would already be a massive upset of them just taking this 1 map.
Indeed. Going to need to see some more control here from DWG early on. Not in the sense of map control, but just control over themselves. Been punished quite often here from Liquid with really no opportunity for refrags or anything of this sort, and you know how troublesome that can be for them. So good to see the adjustment here. Definitely going to need to be leaning on this info game, especially with Woogie Man still on the line. So these EE1Ds possibly be a big assistance to them with locking down these Liquid players.
Rin's going to work his way over again, just establishing that early position. We might see if he hears any noise cues, a little bit of repel play onto that 1 window there, but not looking likely, and it doesn't appear as though the Team Liquid player is potentially going to take that fight either. Moringa's, though, still very much hunting for that first kill opportunity, as we've seen him get multiple times here. Breach entry for Rin. He's going to hop right into security, try to take the fight against Moringa on the inside of the office. Quickly learns that that's probably not going to work out too well, though, and backs out.
All right, well, Palu Holding things down on the top floor for some time here, seeing if he can possibly get a pick. One of the most influential players from Liquid. Time and time again, top fragging as well as just so very consistent. That's the scariest thing about Palu at the end of the day. But either way though, DWG will finally be able to get into this top floor. He'll be starting inside of Penthouse. Palu almost losing his head there, but very, very close engagement. Ends up going by the wayside, so able to maintain his life, but not before Katsang starts applying pressure across the entirety of this top floor, using that skeleton key to the fullest.
Cake kind of battening down the hatches here as we are approaching the halfway point of the round. They do not need to play out aggressively into that spot anymore, so it just serves as another quick obstacle to get in the way. DWG Gaming, though, as we can see, a lot of hesitance from them on the inside of this round so far. Very slow to take the map control, but they have started to gain quite a bit of it, especially over here towards the front portion of the map, especially towards Theater upstairs, too. Rin now going to try to make a much more concerted push in through the Aqua's position to finally set up a staging ground that DWG Gaming can use to push themselves onto the actual site.
All right, well, slow and steady, DWG Kia, as we would expect after that previous round. Just like what we talked about, we don't want to see them overextend here and end up losing people early on because their offenses have been so difficult when that happens. Frag grenades out now, trying to get rid of this shield. Does a fragmentation get it? No, at least get the ADS that was set up there. So no longer having protection over that. A nice shot here from Katsang, but that's going to be from underneath instead as he'll take down Sexy Cake. Some positive control here for DWG. Liquid now, though, have to try and find an answer. Now starting it off, they'll end up popping blue here, but it's going to be Rin to be holding down this space here as well. Nesk more than likely just simply holding onto a Nitro cell. Rin starting to propel himself forward as well. He'll take down Nesk. He's going to clear up this bottom floor, which means DWG more than likely planning soon.
Moringa continuing to hold these angles, waiting for the final push to come in from DWG Gaming. Liquid has bled out a large majority of their player count here, so DWG Gaming has the massive advantage coming into these final seconds of the round. Do they have the pressure needed to get the plant onto the ground, though? It's looking like they might. That Nitro still going to stop it with only 10 seconds left here. That's a big pick from Team Liquid. Palu going to find another one against Rin here. That equalizes. He pushes it even further with another pickup against Katsang. And now Woogieman going to try to turn it around, but it can't be done. Yas is the only one left, but the time is over. Liquid take the round, and they tie us up at 5-5.
The only thing that DK did not have there was a player inside of Aqua, and that's what punishes them. That Nitro cell sails all the way from Hookah. Very difficult shot for the window player there on Billiards and ends up knocking down the planner there. Anyone inside of Aqua might have had an opportunity to get rid of that, but obviously not the case here for DWG. Liquid tie things up 5-5, and now we have an opportunity to see overtime in between these two on the very first map.
See if it will happen here. Liquid certainly seeming to get the message in terms of how to handle.
Look at Palu once again, John. 8-5-2, just so very consistent.
Not even the top of the actual scoreboard there, though. Just has the point lead. Someone has 9 as well. Nesk there sitting towards it. Quite a few of the other members of Team Liquid step it up here. It's a fairly even performance across the board here. We even look back over to the DWG Gaming Kia side. Also, we were talking about that earlier, about how even the fragging had been. It's a bit skewed now in the favor of Katsang, but still fairly close as all 10 players are giving a true performance in the semifinals of the, or excuse me, the quarterfinals of the major.
Lots of quarterfinals today as well.
4 of them.
Just to remind you guys, all best of 3s, so lots of Rainbow Six Siege action to be had as we're all still just waking up. That crust out of your eyes, get that caffeine going on, folks. I already have this morning 2 energy drinks down and ready for war when it comes between these two.
I hope you guys like watching tournaments for 16 hours straight, because that's probably what you're in for today.
Hey, you know what? Just tuck yourself in bed, grab the popcorn. It's going to be a good day.
Maybe get a coffee.
You're not going to need the coffee. I mean, you're going to be chilling all day. We're the ones that are probably going to need the coffee, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of action like you were talking about, and it's going to be a good time, folks. So just dial in for that for the remainder. Either way, though, we are a little bit into round 11 now as DK are beginning to work the map, mostly centralized around the service area. Good news as well, did not end up using that Cone 6 to pop. I think they were thinking about possibly rushing there for just a split second, but definitely did not have the bodies in order to do so.
Regardless, away from that, though, the map's going to go quiet for just a moment here. DSK still holding the harsh angle. If anyone from DK is going to try to peek their way into service, but they're avoiding that for the time being, focusing instead on the top-down clear. As you can see, multiple drones heading their way into the bathroom breach, as well as the couple vents to try to figure out where exactly Liquid have thrown their aggression up on the second floor. It's not really too surprising where that's gone, though. Liquid have everything set up in fairly standard positions. The little bunker deployed over here right now for Palu on the inside of the theater. He's going to lose one side of that reinforcement, but he still has the other wall reinforcement as well as the deployable shield to play for. So could be some time before he's forced out. Got to be careful. You can see that cutoff established by Yas there if he tries to go too far back and down the staircase.
Sexy Cake ends up getting marked out, and Yas has a single board broken inside of the Aqua double door. Balcony ends up taking them down inside of Billiards. So positive start here for DWG. Handling things quite slow, though, as we'd seen previously. Trying for the aggressive plays. That's what Liquid wanted exactly, and we're able to muster 2 big picks off of that and giving DWG a very, very hard time. The previous round, they got very close to that case plant, but obviously that Nitro Cell able to take him out and make things very difficult for them once again. Tying things up, though, going into the last minute. Still up on a 5v4. Liquid obviously having that earlier pick here, but they're still holding on to quite a bit of this map control. Coded's been able to take control of the top area, but it doesn't seem like they have any real mark. Uh-oh, they do indeed. Z-Ping starting to go down. Coded more than likely going to start working vertical play. Morenga, though, stays towards the back of lobby. It's a positive thing for him as well, as there is indeed no way to destroy that top floor.
Yas going to continue to move himself forward here. He'll have to be cautious, though. Still so much of the Liquid defense out and about inside of this front lobby. Morenga being one of those, but he did just shift away. Paulo as well, moving back upstairs here to try to put some extra pressure. This could work, though, from Liquid. It's a bit risky as it does leave the front exposed to this push from Yas, but we'll have to see now. Morenga needs to come up with something big against the top-down crunch right now. That would save his teammates in the sight, but it's too slow. Where is Morenga at? He needs to make this play now, not later. There we go. Finally taking down Katsang, but is that going to be enough? In comes the push from Damwon Gaming Kia. Time is low. They could still win this in the 2v4. Ness trying to hold on, but he's only going to be able to go 1-for-1. Morenga hops out, wondering just where the heck everybody is, and unfortunately he's just giving himself away now. He's going to try to swing back to the inside, but can't get it done. Yas shuts down the final kill, and Damwon Gaming Kia go up onto map point.
They'll be the first ones to reach map point here on Coastline. 1 round away from winning inside of regulation. Unless Liquid has something to say about it, this defense means a lot to them going forward. So far, though, it's been a game of strategy back and forth between these two. Liquid with the attempted rotation up top that could have saved their site setup, but the EE1D preventing them from doing so. A big mid-round adjustment there that ends up failing. So Liquid now down by a round, and DWG had the opportunity to take Coastline.
M1 Gaming Kia, will you be able to do this now against Team Liquid?
Incredible.
Bringing this map out of
so
absolutely nowhere, hiding it for literally months, and preparing it specifically for this matchup, even hiding it through the group stage. Like I said, this team got away with playing only 2 maps the entire group stage and still had a fairly dominant performance there. I, along with a couple other of the analysts, and you as well, I believe, thought that, okay, this limited map pool, as soon as we hit best of 3s, this is where Damwon Gaming is going out. They just don't have a deep enough map pool to be able to play into this tournament. Clearly, they had something to show us here today.
Yeah, they did indeed. And you know, the craziest thing about it is that looking at Coastline for Liquid, yeah, it's banned pretty often. It's also banned by their opponents. They've banned it 9 times, but their wins are still pretty strong. They beat Mikasanas, have also beat Furia as well as FaZe, and all the way back they also beat Parabellum on it as well, if you guys remember that roster from SI 2021. So it's not like Liquid are slouches on this either. They have a 67% win rate, but walking into a team that has literally 0 background publicly on that map, I mean, that's a pretty scary thing, honestly.
I mean, that gives them a massive advantage here too, right? Because Liquid just can't necessarily counter-strat before the match itself. They have no way to know what Damwon Gaming are going to do, have no way to even expect that they would be, you know, prepared to play this map. So it's all a massive surprise for the folks at home, as well as for Team Liquid here, as they're slowly falling behind and potentially losing this opening map against DK. Slow start, though, for DK, as they're going to spend that first minute or so figuring out the extra intel they need, as well as trying to suss out any more of the aggressive angles we could be seeing across the map for Liquid, such as Sexy Cake leaning in there, as well as the usual position on the inside of the Master and Theater rooms.
Yeah, Sexy Cake, not the cleanest score line, but he's been the playmaker early on inside of these rounds that have given Liquid a chance, and we'll see if he's able to do it again. But DK sticking to this more controlled style of play before the aggression starts to come out. But speaking of aggression, Sexy Cake for a peek out of service door. Not going to find too much, as Yas will begin to traverse the entirety of the map, making the long trek along the south side over towards the office door where PSK currently resides.
PSK, no aggressive tendencies coming out from him just as of yet, and there's not much of a reason for him to do so. At least 2 players, if not more, lined up here for DK to try to potentially go out against him if he peeks the wrong side and does not instantly have a headshot angle himself to shut down that opportunity. The E1D is going to lock him into place, takes a slightly aggressive position, but the drone will still spot him out regardless. What may have still been hidden, though, is Palu hiding on the hallway over towards security. As Damwon Gaming Kia still trying to figure out exactly what this setup looks like, starting to at least shift 1 or 2 of those players away, as they may feel that it's not worth their time after all.
Well, this time sink now for DWG starting to dwindle here. 2 minutes off the board, going into our last minute, up on a 5 versus 5. So you guys know what that means. This is more than likely going to be pretty crazy here going into this. Ends up starting to break up this top floor. They want to hold on to Aqua here. An opportunity for a frag, but none of the bullets connecting to the player inside of Hookah. Want to make sure that there is no forward aggression in this area. Katsang starting to break up the top floor. He'll get some solid damage, but PSK wins out the gunfight on his sliver's worth of HP. And Palu, he'll be able to come in for the rescue as well. This is looking like overtime unless Rin has something to say about it, but PSK can get yet another frag. The HP count doesn't even matter, but for Rin, finally able to fight back inside of sight. They'll take down Nesk, and now Sexy Cake, the rest of Liquid, can simply just wait, but Rin with the forward aggression, you also get one as well. It's a 2 versus 1. Can the Ash main do it? Rin knows where one is, hopped on top of Aqua, but no, the Sunrise bar hop actually does not work out there. Had me in a tizzy there for a split second. That was some incredible stuff. Woo, yeah, that's my facial reaction right there. That's how I was feeling.
Thankfully, Moringa is just that much more proficient with the SMG-11 right there versus Rin's rifle. So Rin, very nice play at the end. Gotta give respect for being able to make it that close considering the situation they were walking into, but still, Liquid also get it done. They tie us up at 6-6, and we now go into overtime on our very first map. Even though we are in the playoffs, though, now, folks, it is still going to be the usual rules. First to 2 rounds out of 3 in this overtime, so you're looking for the magic number of 8 rounds to win the map.
Well, it was 4-4-4 earlier for DK. You guys can put that in the chat if you want to. 10-10-10 now for Liquid as we enter overtime here. And as John just told you guys, it's best of 3 rounds. Whoever hits 8 first will be the victor. Now, the good news for the DWG Kia fans in chat is the fact that they're starting off on defense. If you guys don't remember, you joined late. Their defensive half was actually the best part of their entire regulation. And really what the fact of the matter was is that they were able to split it 4-2, and the aggression as well as their map control overall constantly was a big issue for Liquid.
I would normally come out here right now and say that a large part of why Damwon Gaming might have been able to get away with some of these defensive holds is the fact that, again, there was no tape on this. Liquid had no idea what to expect, but I don't necessarily think that that's the case here as Damwon Gaming, even after the adjustments we saw from Team Liquid over the course of the many rounds we played out during regulation, Damwon Gaming was still winning out multiple rounds towards the end of the half, was still looking very strong on this defensive side. So I don't think the extra experience that Liquid got against Damwon Gaming's defense on the inside of regulation is necessarily going to make the biggest difference here. We'll have to see. It's all going to have to be on the individual adjustments for the team to potentially try and make up the difference here and get the rounds that they'll absolutely need to try and take this map.
Oh, I would love it if this was anywhere near traditional Rainbow Six, where it's like, hey, the first pick happened, they're more than likely going to end up winning the round because of that. But we'll be really honest with you guys. We really don't know when it comes down to these two. There is so much change-up that happens inside of these rounds. It can be one pick that ends up winning you the entirety of the round, or the other team just all of a sudden gets a big multi-kill, and we're equal in man count going into the last minute again. So we'll have to see what they're able to achieve here. Sexy Cake almost with a lineup onto Cat inside a guitar, and it's a singular shot heard around the world. I'll take the dome off of Cat, no longer having discs to try and stack up.
Now, we've seen this situation unfold before as well. Liquid constantly getting the opening pick advantage, but being unable to translate it later on into the round. We'll see if that's still going to be a problem here. Because usually that opening kill leads to a massive advantage for the team that gets it, but doesn't necessarily seem to be a definitive case on the inside of this map so far for Team Liquid, as they've been getting it so often and still have had issues closing out. Rin, meanwhile, still waiting with quite a bit of a reinforcement setup here over on the inside of Theater to fend off those pushes through the Hall of Fame, as well as in through other areas like VIP and the bathroom itself.
And what a great showing from Rin so far. 12-8-2, and one of the players that's had some consistency issues over the course of this, and Palu. Speaking of consistency, he is indeed the most consistent player on Liquid. Once again, able to take down a DWG member, put them on their back foot, but that doesn't mean that Rin's going to slow down anytime soon. This player that we were just talking about can be so very aggressive and have the big change-ups here for DWG. And any of these kills right now that he's able to muster could possibly change up this last minute.
still patiently waiting as finally the utility is going to be dealt with, even in partial terms here. Can blow up the X-Kairos, remove the extra reinforcement that Rin had to play behind. They still need to actually force Rin out of this room, though, and he might be doing that just for himself. Makes the escape around the corner here. Noses the drone in the corner. A little bit of an issue taking it out, but there you go. Finally, Rin.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, we've seen that happen a few times already. And Rin's just going to fall away now. The job has been done in terms of time wasting here. We're at 35 seconds. But even with that, man, Rin is still going to try to get more aggressive here. Swinging out some great damage against PSK, but none of these aggressive swings are working for Damwon on the inside of this ground. Liquid are catching every single one of them. Every single player that has gone down from Damwon Gaming has either been in an aggressive angle hold or has tried to swing like that. Woogieman is going to find the first bit of success for DK on the inside of this round, though, as they bring it into a 2v4 with only 15 seconds left. Moringa, though, quickly eliminates Coded, leaving only Woogieman in the fight, and an open plan opportunity for Sexy Cake.
It's quite scary there, but Woogieman still with an opportunity. Oh, the dash as well to get him out of dodge. Or at least play this out for the rest of this. Very low on HP, and the expected result there is Sexy Cake will take him down. Liquid jump ahead here for, I believe, the very first time on Coastline, as they'll be able to take down a lot of DK members early on, just making it almost impossible to get the frags necessary. Good round there from Rin, lots of delay up top, but, I mean, there wasn't much they could do past that.
There's going to be a timeout here coming in now for Damwon Gaming up against...
Are they icing the kicker? Like, what's going on? Oh, never mind.
What's up?
Cancel that. Cancel that.
Okay, I was about to say, it's Damwon's boss. This one makes sense, as they do need to figure themselves out in this situation. Falling behind, haven't used the pause up until this point because they've been in control of the entire matchup up until this point. So what a better time than now. We need to turn this around, and we need to win 2 in a row, 1 on each side. So plenty of things to discuss here for the Damwon Gaming Kia roster and how they're going to correct that. Liquid, on the other hand, with that attack there, let's talk about that for a second. Excellent info gathering capabilities. Like I said, every single aggressive swing or aggressive hold that Damwon Gaming tried to go for was found out by Team Liquid, and the only time we saw that go the other way was when the round was already pretty much at a futile point anyway.
Absolutely. Honestly, I think that the beauty of that round can be just really shown by the way that they handled the entire Rin situation up top.
Yeah.
You know, he's holding things down inside a theater and constantly trying to find a new angle to try and fight them from, but the entire time they're simply getting more info and just trying to make him back off and just constantly working that area until finally he gives it up, and Liquid allowed to take spatial control, putting him in a pretty bad spot. He goes for that peek out the front door, but they're ready for that as well. Those bushes just simply not working out in his favor for that gunfight.
So Liquid in control of the map at the very first time in the map, we do believe. They have tied it quite a few times, but Liquid's never really been able to push ahead. So for the first time, they take it, and now they only need 1 more round to win the map as well. There's been some great performances coming out from at least 3 of the members there of Team Liquid, and the rest of the team too, I'll be honest with you there. We've got Palu, Nesk, as well as Moringa, all over 10 frags, and PSK not far behind at 9. A full team effort coming out, but you could say the very same thing for pretty much most of Damwon Gaming here. They're fairly close, with everybody except for Woogieman being at 7 to 12 kills.
Woogieman, even though he is indeed 5 and 11 right now, the frags that he's gotten have actually been impactful, and that's the biggest thing. We were talking earlier on about some impactless kills that came at the end of a round, and really what we're talking about in the differences in between those two is, does that kill have influence to the point where you win the round? That's what we're trying to talk about in impactful frags, and Woogieman has been able to get a handful of those, which is a big deal. Obviously a couple of those impactless, but at the end of the day, that's how it ends up breaking down. So
also important to know that his operator roles have been fairly utility focused, as we're seeing now with the line as well.
Defensive ones, obviously.
Yes, but here on the attack, we've seen him take up some more utility focused operators as a result of that. He hasn't always been on the front lines of fragging here, and he's keeping himself alive to be able to use that utility in the late round situations, so hasn't necessarily always had the chances to pick up kills here. By the way, though, the round has begun. Damwon Gaming out on the board. Rin already starting to put pressure onto that main front stairs window. Palu, of course, hiding out in security just below that. We'll hear that noise and start to send that info over to his teammates so they can start to set up a more aggressive defensive matrix to look for, first of all, that good, nice opening kill for themselves. Now, I do believe Sexy Cake on the inside of the bathroom there just got spotted by a drone, and he does not realize it yet. However, he's already rotated away from that position, so he'll have saved his own life if Damwon Gaming is going to be able to leverage anything from that, or tries to, with aggression through the front door.
All right, well, a minute off the board, and it's been silent around the Ibiza map so far. Not too much going on, but that could change up immediately as Sexy Cake, artillery in hand inside of Kitchen, ready to check this Nitro cell at any moment and see if he can fish out a DWG frag, making the job a heck of a lot more difficult for them going forward. But as we've been talking about, doesn't mean that they are going to slow down, even though the playstyle so far has been quite lethargic in comparison comparison, but I would just say that that's more controlled simply because of the way that we've been seeing these two battle back and forth inside of these rounds. Liquid obviously pulling a new page out of their book with their aggressive play style, especially from Sexy Cake's position. He's been able to get quite a few frags from throughout his defensive half, especially inside of this kitchen area. Has been able to abuse service quite a few times and find some very, very impactful kills. But for DK, starting to set things up in Aqua. They need to clear things out here inside of Pink or Couches, whatever you guys call it at home. And they're going to burn out the ADS. A lot of damage coming on to Katsang and a beautiful angle there from Nesk on base.
That's going to do some serious damage, as you said there, to Katsang. He's going to be on the buck here so he can still hold himself back and fight at range. Not the end of the world by any means, but it's sub 25. Certainly is going to hurt things for DK a little bit, considering he has been one of their more aggressive players. You can see here for Liquid, they've got a stolen drone off the Mozzie here. That's actually going to be moved around a little bit, just as they're realizing that there's not really going to be a whole lot of pressure coming in from VIPs. They don't need that drone there anymore. They realize it's a focus on the Aqua push. So they're going to try to get it in a better position to counter that. Second EE1D of the round, I believe, coming out there is going to lead to a little bit of info, but still, even though it forces PSK out of position, he wins the fight regardless. Takes down Boogeyman, destroys that last EE1D with it. A nice find from Sexy Cake here as he's going to be able to get one player on Repel. That'll take down Katsang Coded. Also going into a down state, Yas finally trading that out from his Repel in the big window. Chuck of the Candelas to the inside. This will mainly serve as a distraction to get Coded back up, which they'll succeed in doing, but now he needs to get the plant down. Palu countering out the pushes, though he's shutting it all down, and Team Liquid take control just finally after they take the lead for themselves. They win in overtime, 8-6 on the first back.
And you can see the relief on Liquid's face there is, I'm assuming they did not expect that game to go that way either. It's going to require overtime up against DK on Coastline, but Liquid still good for it. A stressful map for them, to say the least.
Yeah, certainly a stressful map, and one they had to spend a lot of time making adjustments. We saw, though, from that pause, immediately things starting to change up. And even then, though, only able to leverage 2 rounds inside of that first half, having to bring it all the way back on the second half for their defense with 4 rounds there. They take it to OT, where, to be fair to them, from that point forward, they did win it out with 2 additional rounds going into their favor. So Team Liquid take control the expected map going into their favor as they go up 8-6 and now 1-0 on the overall series. They're a little early on the analyst test. We'll get back to them in a second. As you can see, they're getting ready, so we're just going to finish up our discussion here.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I think that there's a lot of positive things to talk about for both of these teams. I think Ren had an amazing game there. Woogieman, not so much, but as you talked about, the utility really playing into the play style that he had to adopt for himself. But Palu, especially for Liquid, so very consistent across all of those rounds, and that's really what you need. You need that rock inside of a game like this.
What else do we expect, right? Palu's been giving us that type of performance all throughout the group stage as well. By far has been the leading player on their team, I think, for every single matchup except maybe 1 or 2 that they played in the group stage, so no surprises there that he's giving us that once again today. For Rin as well, great to see that, because like we said, he was a little bit hot and cold, so hopefully if he continues to give us that hot performance, things may look a little bit better for the team going into future maps. That'll do it for us for now, though. We're going to get ready for map number 2, and while we do, we'll send it back down to Monty to talk more about the first map.
No. You don't want to hear my opinions about Rainbow Six Siege. We'll hear your opinions about Rainbow Six Siege.
I want to know your opinions, Monty. What do you think?
I thought that game was really exciting. I was surprised about Damwon Kia's performance, especially considering they never play this map of Coastline, and they had a strong lead at the half of 4-2. So it was a good start for sure. Is this auspicious for the rest of this series as we head into Chalet?
I mean, I think you've definitely got to look at this as the map that Team Liquid chose, that Damwon Kia have never played before in their history, and then they're going to Chalet next time, and that's going to be much more favorable for them. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think that this is a really poor sign for Team Liquid. Obviously, we're not in groups. Overtime doesn't punish you like it does in groups, but still, I'm really worried that Liquid lost that many rounds.
Yeah, but I also do think that you still needed to hide Coastline a little bit better if you were Damwon Kia overall. Like, you haven't played it at all. They clearly had a strategy coming into this map in the first place, but it came down to swinging the Brazilians. And when you swing the Brazilians, 90% of the time, it's not going to go your way. It's Nesk holding the flanks down. Mourinho had a greater game than I think probably either one of us were expecting overall stats-wise. He had plenty of frags in impact moments, and especially at the last couple of seconds. So it meant that Liquid were able to contain a lot of this very raw aggression that we've seen from Damwon Kia over the course of the group stage.
I will say, like, the last overtime defense that Damwon Kia had was so disappointing because it felt like they completely, like, switched up what they were doing on their first half. When they started on defense for the first half of the game, it felt like they weren't actually going for too many like bad swings. Like they were playing pretty passive, and Liquid almost expected them to swing them every single time. Like they looked at Cyclops and they looked at sort of the stereotypical APAC playstyle, and they almost expected that from Damwon Kia, and because of that, they weren't super eager to jump into gunfights. But that meant that every single time Liquid were pushing, they were going too slow. They didn't have the time to make it work. They had to clear out the roamers way slower than they would have liked to. And you look at that last defense, round 13 from Damwon Kia, and like there's 3 guys hard holding the most aggressive angles I've ever seen in my life. Like why? Why? It was frustrating.
I mean, I think if you're Damwon Kia, you know you're an underdog, right? So with that comes the need at times to take risks, and especially. Let me play devil's advocate here for Damwon Kia, because especially if you're in this position where you don't play this map, like you're very close to actually winning it. Why not take the risk and see if you can steal this one?
But their defenses were good. If they just did what they did for the first 6 rounds, they probably would have won that round, and we get to see around 15. I don't know, Monty.
Came pretty darn close. I love that we saw Rin actually have a really decent game this time around, which I know we're going to touch on in a second. So the fact that he had as good of a game as he did playing the Jaeger, playing the Ashe, with no Zof on the table, he kind of had to do something with his time. But this was really just the Nesk Palu game that we've seen over and over again. It's that exact same consistency. Nesk will be the guy to pop off with a 4K when you least expect it, and he did that exact thing on round 9, and the stats are already beginning to back up that Palu and the rest of this team, Palu can just entry the entire way, and everyone else cleans up. The only one without double-digit kills is Sexy Cake.
Right. Well, don't sleep on PSK either. I mean, that defensive roam down in office. I mean, that was really incredible stuff. Looking up to the buck up above him, I thought particularly in that second half, he really started to shine for Team Liquid, and he's a big reason why they were able to claw this back.
And you mentioned coming in, Jesse, that you were a little bit down on Nesk in this event.
Yeah.
Is that still true? How did you think he did in this map?
No, this was pretty solid for Nesk. I mean, one thing that you've noticed very clearly if you were watching the regular stage of BR6 and Copa Elite 6 versus this event is Nesk is not playing the Zofia. Obviously, she got nerfed really heavily right before this event, and Nesk has completely abandoned her as an operator. Used to be brought by Team Liquid, what, 52% of the time, I believe, here. So, like, they used to love the Zofia. They used to bring it all the time. Now they haven't brought it a single time this tournament. They obviously banned it in this game against Damwon Kia. And I think you've noticed the drop in performance from Nesk, too. Back in the Copa Elite 6, he was one of the best entries. I think his roam clear was really what stood out for me from on Team Liquid. But in this case, he's really not been having a great time. He's negative on entry throughout the event, and I think it's hurting him.
Yeah, we do have to talk a little bit about the operators, too, because I'm curious based on that. If Team Liquid thinks that Zofia is not necessarily the best operator to use anymore, then why ban it against Rin?
Well, I think Rin has taken a very different approach to that, and obviously
he's just gone through the nerf and said, I'm still going to keep using her.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the stats. Yeah, I believe every single round has been a Zofia pick from Rin. Might be a couple switch-offs here and there, and obviously in that game, couldn't play Zofia. But, I mean, Liquid were very clearly working that ban off the stats. They knew we never play it. Rin always plays it. Rin has been the big star player other than Yas for Damwon Kia. So I think it makes a lot of sense as a ban.
The issue also is just Copa Elite 6, I believe, happened pre-patch, if I'm not mistaken. So for anything that Nesk could have done on Zofia up for that time frame, it was perfectly fine. It was all feasible. And then as soon as we cut back into like APAC playoff territory, which is where Damwon Kia were playing, they had already qualified by the time that patch had come through. So they were able to play the entirety of the APAC playoffs and qualify for Mexico without that ever being a problem. And that was a case where Rin was doing what he always does and continuing to play the same operator. So it's relatively unaffected, but that still didn't really stop him from still dropping double-digit kills in this map.
That's the thing, yeah, it didn't even hurt him.
I wonder if they're going to keep doing that strategy then, or if they've got some other options in their back pocket.
I'm curious,
I think it gets harder when you have to move off of Coastline, right? Like Coastline, you get a lot of freedom with your attacker bans because you don't necessarily need to ban the Thatcher or a Hard Breach or whatever you typically are banning on other maps like Clubhouse, for example. So they definitely have more freedom. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't repeat the Zofia ban.
All right, we're going to talk about something that you touched on earlier, which is kind of the slow attack rounds from Team Liquid, and this started right off the bat in round 1, so you wanted to look at it from the kind of bird's eye view.
Yeah, let's take a look at this one, because I think it is a great example of Team Liquid just not taking ground that's being given to them for free. So notice this is a 3v5, and only one player from Damwon Kia is on site. It's Katsang. The other 2 are down below. Liquid have 5 alive. Look at the bottom of your screen here. Sexy Cake is just going to push all by himself. What is the guy on the hookah balcony doing? What is this guy in the hallway up on the right-hand side of your screen, right here? Thank you for the pause. Doing? He's pushing way too late. There's a guy on hookah balcony, there's a guy down below. And Liquid, if they had just sent 5 players at this bomb site, 2 of the players are not going to have time to react to this. Yas is going to get overwhelmed in a 1v5, and Liquid get an easy opening round. But instead what happens is they go at this very individually. Sexy Cake goes first. The second player, I don't know exactly who it is, but he's about to take this gunfight against Yas. He's going to die in his 1v1, and there's just no support from the other players of Team Liquid. Why is Paulo out on the balcony? Why is there somebody on the hookah window? I mean, this is what we're seeing. It's Nesk who ends up losing that gunfight. Or sorry, yeah. PSK. So, I mean, it's just frustrating because the opportunity is there for Team Liquid. They can go and grab it, but they're just not realizing that that's the case.
Sometimes I felt like Team Liquid gave Damwon a little bit too much respect, especially when it came to the roam and the very wild style that we've seen like teams in APAC play over time. The entire idea on a defense for Damwon Kia is just to disrupt. It's to be in positions where you're not expected to be. Latin America usually does have a way to play this map that has players on defense in specific positions at specific times, and that's not the way that APAC plays, but it's that kind of calculated aggression overall that especially in like mid to late game defenses for Damwon meant that whenever Liquid's trying to go for a late execute, it simply isn't working half the time. And I do feel like because we saw a 4-2 half, Liquid had ample opportunity to end rounds a lot quicker than they did, even with opening picks, and they still couldn't convert on a lot of those rounds.
All right, next question, because the players are ready. Chalet, we're going into it now. It was a shockingly close game on OT, considering what you guys might have expected on Coastline. Is this a 3-map series? Is this Chalet looking like it's going to be tilting in favor of Damwon Kia?
I'm going to have to say so. They played it 3 times in Stage 2. They won it every single time. Yeah, it's APAC, but this is their strong map. I expect them to win this one, given how we saw Coastline go.
Both of these maps, I think, play somewhat similarly. They're both relatively attacker-favored in some respects. Coastline historically has always been that way. There's a very good reason for why Damwon wants to play this map to begin with, because these guys simply don't have nearly as much time, especially in a major international context. So they're taking a bit of a chance on it, but I do have more faith in Damwon to, at the very least, close this map out, given how Coastline went.
Yeah, keep in mind, too, that Damwon Kia has successfully hidden Chalet here so far, so they don't have any recent footage from the 6 major that they're giving over, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have some interesting strats that they have managed to keep under wraps as well.
Let's hope so, yeah.
So should be fun. Guys, we're going to get right into this next game. Our teams are ready, so take it away, Blue and Stokes.
What does it take to create a vibrant, thriving community? Join us on this 3rd episode of I Call Next as we discover how to create inspiring content and hype up an entire gaming scene. PayPal. Press play.
And we are finally ready to take it away from Monty. Just took a little bit. We had to throw it through the commercials and all that real quick. But we're back now, ladies and gentlemen, ready to start the second matchup of our first quarterfinal of the day here at the playoffs of the 6th Major in Mexico. Bound to be a good one, too. We just had a surprise map there from Damwon Gaming. Nearly was able to pull off the upset. Unfortunately for them, Team Liquid, though, did bring it back, took control in overtime. Now, though, we're heading to Chalet, a map where obviously things are looking very different for the folks on Damwon Gaming. Previously, we had a map where they banned the map out nearly all the time. This map, their opponents have been banning it out nearly every single time. We were asking what you guys at home thought, though, about this matchup, and more importantly, who you thought was going to win. We've got the statistics for you now on that. I'll put those on screen, I believe, in just a second. It's in favor of Team Liquid, as you guys have voted for them at a 57-43 split.
Honestly, to be expected, but I don't think the results were expected on Coastline, and that's setting us up for a pretty interesting Chalet, where we were forced to overtime on Coastline, folks. 8-6 in favor of Liquid. DWG giving a lot of trouble to Liquid, especially in the frags department. Their ability to hold map control, especially on defense, and really not give up any space for Liquid to work with, was very, very problematic for them. So we'll see what they can possibly do on Chalet, another map that is offensive-sided inside of our map pool.
And it's not only a map as well that's feared by Damwon Gaming's opponents, they have a nearly flawless record as of the recent history on this map too. So Liquid has to probably be getting a little bit worried now, considering just how many rounds they dropped on the map that they, everything on paper anyway, would suggest they would have handily won. And now we go to the one that's expected to be picked up by Damwon Gaming. That map 3, certainly a possibility at a minimum for this matchup now.
Yeah, and the scariest thing about this, and honestly one of the saddest things about it at the end of the day, is the fact that if Liquid does take this map, we no longer have Damwon Gaming Kia in the tournament. And I know for a lot of people at home, this has probably been one of the most interesting teams to watch at this tournament. They've been so very fun, especially with their strategy overall. I'm really hoping that they give us a good show here on Chalet, because if they do, we end up going to Oregon, which those map stats in between these two teams is just absolutely absurd. So going to be interesting if we get there, but we have to cross this bridge first.
At the same time, it would be a bit of a shame to say goodbye to Liquid this early on in the tournament as well. If Damwon Gaming is able to successfully rebound between maps 2 and 3 here, Liquid had probably the strongest run of any single team inside of the group stage, just with the consistency of the performance as well as the overall score differential that I think they had on a round-to-round basis there. They were absolutely crushing some of their matchups. So I think like an average of 7-4, 7-3 throughout most of their games. So for all that to fall apart here in the very first match of the playoffs, at least for me, would be a bit of a shame.
I think it would be a very disappointing showing from Liquid in the first place. I think if this team doesn't at least make it to semis, this is a failed tournament. And honestly, with you know, their companions and the likes of Ninjas and Pajamas in their region also getting knocked out in groups, I think a lot of people are looking to Liquid to be the favorites here.
We'll have to see if that is indeed going to be the case. Latin America has been showing us so far in 2021, obviously through SI, that they've become, to some extent, the dominant region here. I'm going to defend NA to a little bit, but you know, still, LATAM has certainly made massive strides forward at SI, and now they're looking to do it again for Team Liquid. Here as we move into the second map, though it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to start the action yet again. It's Chalet. It's the pick coming in from Damwon Gaming Kia, and we shall see if their prowess on this map will be enough to tie the series up at 1-1, or will Liquid continue to stride forward and get a 2-0 victory? Let's find out as we get into the bans.
Okay, well, let's see if there's going to be any interesting things here from these two. The last time we got a Zofia ban out of Liquid, trying to counter out Rin's play, but obviously that did not work out in the slightest. Rin, the most effective player on DWG inside of that last game, having double-digit frags, was making life quite hard for them. But either way, though, as we get into the ban phase, Flores will be the first one taken out here by DWG.
Yep, Flores making quite a bit of sense. He's been used fairly often on this map, as well as our other choke point heavy and setup heavy maps, what I'm tending to kind of drift towards and call them now, just because he's very good for dealing with utility in very easy fashion and at very minimal risk to the player that's using the operator himself, so that makes sense. Lion coming out there for Team Liquid, also making sense. Damwon Gaming Kia used that a lot on the previous map, but is probably going to try and bring it out here too. Not anymore, it's been banned out. Valkyrie, so far the only like in-trend meta ban that's super straightforward here. She's universally useful. Get her out of here. Same thing for Mira.
Yeah, just Mira, you can leave.
We don't really need to explain it.
Valkyrie, you can go. It's fine. Lion, you're all right. I would say that the two most meta things here obviously would probably be Flores and Valkyrie.
Yeah, Flores
you know,
too.
Mira's
Starting to
just
become one.
so unbelievably obvious. Like at this
As
point
she
in time,
has been for years now.
Since bans were put in, win. She has been one of the most banned operators in the entirety of the game. It's like her and Thatcher for the respective sides. So, and you know, obviously Valkyrie soon working her way in there as well, as soon as everyone was like, well, we could just take away the black eye cams and your ability to run out Nitro Sell Me and that MPX and just everything you could possibly want as somebody that wants to be annoying on defense. Yeah, let's just remove that. So, and so we're going to have that inside of this game as well. So going to be lacking a little inside of that info department, but nothing that DK cannot handle. We're jumping into the map now, folks, as DK will start off on Games Bar.
Heavy focus on traps mitigation as well as delay coming in on the setup for Damwon Gaming. 2 trap operators coming into the fold, as well as 2 ways to mitigate things, and the smoke to delay at the final moments of the round. Most important thing is going to be those Aruni gates, as well as potential deployment of the toxic base later on in the round. The frost traps, yes, those can be impactful, but that's more of a chance piece of utility at the end of the day there. And as well, if you can challenge the entry against those traps, a great distraction to potentially win a gunfight against a player that might be hopping in. So those will go out. We've started to see Frost have a massive increase to her play rate over the past couple of months, and this map is a large part of the reason as to why. So let's see if she, along with the rest of this defensive setup for Damwon, will have any impact.
Yeah, the ideas really started to rotate around the community when it came to Jim's bedroom on Clubhouse. And we started to see a lot of Frost play there, as well as Frost having the 1.5 at a moment there. Obviously, they took it away from her just a little bit ago, but right now, she's still in a positive light, which is really, really good, honestly, because Frost is one of those operators that was kind of a meme for a really long time. She really didn't have a place inside of the meta. And the funniest thing about it is her effectiveness was highly effective against low-tier players and the highest tier of players. The middle ground is where she had 0 effectiveness at all. And finally, starting to see some more play inside of Pro League overall, which is just awesome to see. So, for Woogieman, he'll be holding things down upstairs. It's going to be a smoke, and it'll give him a really solid angle, though, to still look at this window. Frag grenade out here for Liquid that does very minimal damage. Can the second one get a positive shot? It will. Ooh. Actually, the red indicator, but Woogieman's still alive, and he'll be able to get out.
Falls back, the job is done. He's wasted time. Coded, though, also going to take some big heat here, and he'll have to fall back as more than likely as a result of that as well. Not the greatest start for Damwon Gaming. The good news is they kept both of those players alive, so they're still, at least to some extent, in fighting shape here to play out and more than likely cause delay for Liquid as we go further into the round. More important to note, too, there's obviously no indicator of damage for Team Liquid, so they're not necessarily going to know how low they are unless they saw those nades as well as the damage against Coded go off there. So Liquid won't necessarily be able to react too heavily to the reduced HP just as of yet here. Regardless, though, Liquid is getting enough control to be able to push themselves into the inside of the library. They should be able to take that without too much of an issue, but they still have to watch out for bottom to top angles and the frost traps, of course. That'll be taken care of quickly, but the bottom to top angle is revealed after the frost trap is shot away. Nesk makes it in, but Sexy Cake goes down, and the first kill of the round goes to DWG.
Wouldn't you know it? Once again, DWG with the pick going into the last minute. 2 very low health individuals, though, on their squad that possibly have a big implication going into this last minute as well. Nesk will take down one of those that we were speaking of, and the likes of Coded. Woogieman still being the other one. Obviously, no healing ability for DWG on the defense here. Thunderbird obviously not in competitive play, and Doc not picked up, so won't be able to assist them in any regard in that department. But that doesn't mean that DWG is going to slow down. It'll be PSK to strike next, though, as he'll take down Yas with that DMR. Ren finally firing back from the top floor will take out Nesk. Don't get me phone call out as well, so solid information here for Liquid going into the 30-second mark.
Ringo with a very important pickup there to finally put the advantage back into the favor of Liquid, reducing the defense down to just 2 points as well. Katsang rotating out for the main site. He knows the pressure's about to get very hot in there, so does not want to be there when the rotates come through. Fails to account for the blue rotate, however. Thought Woogieman would have had it covered, but he only has it for 1. Takes out the trade there, brings us down into a 2v1. Unfortunately, lets Palu run across and get into the site. He'll need to deny this plant. He needs to do it right now. Goes in, wants to commit to this swing, but no, the planter will go down onto the ground. Now there's a lot more time to play with. Yes, Woogieman now needs to move in here and successfully take out both these players. No longer can he deny on the timer, and unfortunately he's going to run out of time as Palu commits himself to the swing to shut down that final member of DK and put Liquid on the board first.
Shout out to Woogieman's mechanics, though, because he was literally one shot for that entire fight, and his protection over his hitbox was just immaculate there. So not able to get the round, but some positive stuff still happening here for DWG. That first round going to go to Liquid after a very solid take of the top floor. Lots of damage early on. around, prevented DWG from handling Library how they wanted to. Liquid hop in to get control. Obviously, that first initial pick going the way of DWG, but Liquid fire back almost immediately, especially for PSK.
It's been a bit of a theme so far throughout the two maps we've seen so far. I think that obviously in quite a few of our group stage matches, the first kill has become very important for determining who will potentially at least have that like massive advantage going into the final gunfight. I'd say it's so far been pretty irrelevant inside of most of the rounds we've seen in this game, which is a far cry from what I've been seeing throughout a lot of the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, I would completely agree. And, well, we are going to have a Rooney out on the field here, and no, I will not be making an attempt at laser gates, folks. I promise you. I already told Des and Ace, I won't try again. I need lessons. I know. But either way, though, I told him, what did I tell him? I said, they'll have me all tea and crumpets in no time. That's what I said. So, either way, though, DWG are going to be changing up the bomb sites, and I honestly have to agree with them in this regard. Personally speaking, Master and Office just has a little bit better play in certain moments, and I think this is a site that DWG are going to do a very bang-up job on simply because of the way that Liquid are more than likely going to come in from that Library side and have to work Office. This is going to give them an opportunity to have a lot of these gunfights that they know and love.
Let's see if...
Nice rotation there as well for Stock.
Yeah.
Going to drop him right down inside of this area. And this is honestly going to be another really cool rotation that if he does get caught up downstairs or they try to cut him off in any other area, he can actually go right up blue, straight into games, and actually just drop right back into that stairwell. So this is a very safe area for Yas to play from, and that's more than likely why he's gotten this set up. As for Liquid, they're going to start working the map now. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining for them, so still plenty of time, obviously. No real change-ups in the offensive utility here. The biggest thing for Liquid being PSK currently as Dokkaebi. They've gotten so much out of these phone calls so far.
See, that is the first one's going to roll out right now from PSK. Obviously, he's going to call all of these defenders. Just giving out some info for the new players here that might be joining our stream for the first time. As you can see, it's going to force rotations for quite a few of these players because they can disable it. And Rin tries to go aggressive again, nearly wins it, and Palu says, no. Not only am I taking you down, I'm taking you out with a Gone 6 as he finishes them off nice and quick. They're surviving with a little under 25 HP.
I have never even seen that weapon inside of the kill feed. That was pretty comical. At the end of the day, Rin going to fall after a very influential Coastline. He'll at least be sitting on the bench for round 2 here. Office will get popped open here for Liquid as they start to use this utility game into their own favor, but still have a lot to burn through here. As the laser gates have indeed been set up on this forward wall, the south wall here, for Office. So they're going to actually have to attempt to burn that, as well as this deployable shield here for Coded that has an ADS in tow. So a lot of utility that they're going to have to utilize, but they have quite a few options here. Number 1, Marenga with the EMPs from Thatcher, an operator that we see banned out all of the time, but available here because of the Flores ban. So we'll have to see if they're able to get anything further done with that. Those EMPs obviously being used to turn off the ADSs inside of Piano, so they can try and get some pressure inside of that area. But it's only really going to be some damage back onto Paula as we go into the last minute.
Nesk trying to lock in for an aggressive swing. Damwon Gaming are going to give it to him. So far, no dice, however, as that player tucks himself safely just under the half-wall barricade there. It's Coded on the other end of this equation. Now that we get a picture from his POV, he's going to continue to sit here, wait for the aggression to come his way. This is that SAS kit we've been talking about, how it's been so potent. Even at just this tournament here, the shotgun combined with the SMG-11 giving you that perfect combo of ranged and close range fighting capability. As I'm continuing to talk, though, Liquid are tearing apart this attack here. That is, of course, until the swings come out from Damwon Gaming. They trade out 2 more, but it's all for naught. Yas is left as the last player alive here in the 1v3. He's going to try to make a push forward here. Denying the plant, probably not going to happen, but hey, a free one against Marenga. He'll take that all day, every day. Oh, okay, PSK.
Oh my God.
Almost messed up there, my friend, but thankfully saves it at the last second. Still has to actually get it down onto the ground here, though, and thankfully we'll be able to do so, but then gives away the opportunity for a triple kill on Yas. He needs to go for the quad to shut it down, and it might just be a very easy task. Palu has under 25 HP. He did get that nice kill earlier versus Rin, but he needs one more to solidify this round. And with 30 seconds left, it might be difficult to pull off here. However, Palu has the read on Yas, can shut him down, and saves what was becoming a very scary round there for Team Liquid.
Ooh, little sweat there on the brows of Liquid.
I mean, you can see that they're like facepalming, even like, ooh, guys,
well, yeah,
get it together here.
A major oversight there, a major oversight. They're at least able to trade down to clear out the site, but after Yas simply just comes up Solarium, he's going to get 2 kills. The second one, I'll be really honest with you guys, that should have never have happened. The fact that he even tried to cross to that window is a problem. You should never have tried to do that, because especially with the way that DWG have been playing, he's going to try and pressure you as soon as that case comes down, and, well, you end up getting caught off guard. So Liquid going to make it through the skin of their teeth, up 2-0 currently on DWG.
So Paulo excelling there as a result
How
of
dare
that
you.
double. 3 tweets incoming as he's able to pick up that double kill inside of the round, including the very nice denial against Rin, who is being managed quite nicely by Liquid on the inside of his Rin, trying to bring out those aggressive swings, but so far a very hit or miss record. However, Rin's been able to control himself quite nicely, though, and in quite a few of the rounds, at least back on Coastline, has been able to kind of save himself for late round initiations as well, where we have seen some great impact also. Just not been able to see that just as yet in this map, but hey, we're only 2 rounds deep. Plenty more opportunities for him and the rest of DK here to step things up and try to pick up some rounds on their defense before the half closes out.
Yeah, and that's the big thing for DWG. You and I talked about it when they played Clubhouse, I believe the last day of group stage, that this team, whenever they're on defense, they're the ones that set pace, and that's what makes them so unbelievably scary, but they haven't had the opportunity, to do it up against Liquid here on Chalet. So look to be seeing that inside of these early round engagements. You need DWG to jump ahead here and really set pace on Liquid, because that's when Liquid has usually slowed down and really not had an opportunity to fix things in the later round. I have no clue how that even happened.
Coded even at?
Can you go down to the B bomb site? Oh no!
What?
He was making the hold, John, and he shot him through the head because he crossed the angle. Oh, dude, that's not good. That's a mental break there. Like, right now, this is where DWG, like, this is where the mental game starts to come into play.
I would
honestly.
not be surprised in any capacity we just see a pause come in the next round just for Damwon Gaming to kind of chill out for a second here, because that's very frustrating. Obviously, they wouldn't have really been able to avoid that situation. Just one of those times where the Stars...
what a worse operator to do it to as well.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was the smoke. Like that's just one of those times that the Stars unfortunately align, and it does not play into your favor in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, this isn't those beautiful pictures that you take for your Instagram. This is like the 1700s when you didn't know what an eclipse was and you were just screaming.
Moringa going to continue to push the advantage here for Team Liquid as he finds the technical first kill of the round yet again for his squad, knocking out Coded and Rin, now both down on the ground, leaving only Woogieman, Katsang, and Yas left alive here for DWG to fend off the rest of this attack from Team Liquid. Katsang and Yas also very far from the site at this point too, so if Liquid had the correct drone intel, they could capitalize upon that and absolutely jump onto it. However, rotates are starting to move back over towards the site itself, so that factor is going to go away pretty shortly. At the same time, Liquid still need to open up a couple of things before they're going to feel confident to move in, most notably the dining room wall for themselves. Phone call coming out here also to try and figure out where those last 3 players are going to be positioned. DK can't even really afford to end the phone calls at this point. They need to watch every single corner because they're at such a disadvantage.
And this is just going to be a very difficult round moving forward for DWG, simply because of how Chalet plays to the offensive favor. You can see Liquid have every avenue to try and get in behind them, locked down. They know that DWG are always looking to try and equalize, so they want to prevent that from happening. Obviously, the plant is more than likely going to be looking for a dining plant here. Some nice shots here from Woogieman. He'll be able to find one. And oh, well read there by Palu. Just looks to the inside, able to take down Yas. Woogieman going to continue to try and fish from kitchen, though, into the breach angle, but this is where Sexy Cake lies. Another Doke call out here. Well, actually, no, not a Doke phone call. Excuse me. It was actually the cam hack instead. So we get some extra cameras here for the last 20 seconds, but now Cat seemingly knowing where the West main player is, but gets taken down from Sexy Cake, not realizing that he still has to worry about the breach angle. It's up to Woogieman to try and close this out. He'll be able to get 1 flicks behind him, but not aware of PSK pressuring in from West main. It's going to be Liquid with 3.
Is it weird that Damwon Gaming look the most threatening when they're in a 1vx so far on this map?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what's hilarious to me?
Like, I'm not wrong, right?
I keep saying this in my head. I just don't want to say it on broadcast, but it's like, why are you doing this in a 1vx and not regularly? You know, and that's the kind of the thing that we've been talking about with them inside of the low man count situations in general. Is like if you have a 2 versus 4, they're more apt to win it simply because of the way that they're able to take these gunfights. It just seems that you know, they don't really feel like the opportunity is there until it's do or die.
I hate to like drift into like hypotheticals and whatnot.
Oh, it's okay, man.
I don't have as much experience in that department, but I feel like almost to a certain extent it's M1 Gaming trying to rely too much on their teammates. You know, saying like, yeah, I got this cut off, I have this angle established, you don't need to swing it, and things like that. And then they either ultimately die when the fight is pushed towards them, or they don't have that cut off established. And as a result of that, things fall apart a lot more quickly.
Yeah,
just a theory.
No. I see. I definitely see what you're getting at. I think that the thing, especially, is also the map difference here. This map, obviously, a little bit more utility play. Not to say that Coastline doesn't have that, but Chalet obviously more. And the other thing about this map is that obviously Coastline, yes, abusable by offenses, but Liquid are doing such a very solid job of clearing things across, making sure that DWG can't try and get in behind them, and constantly pressuring these areas, as well as they've since obviously played DWG on Coastline. They see how they constantly maneuver around the map. I mean, when you have Palu looking into the corner of a window to make sure that no one's sitting there just waiting for him to jump in.
Tracing the outline.
Yeah, exactly. So you see what I'm getting at. Is like they are glaringly aware of the situation that's going on inside of this building here.
So let's see now if Team Liquid can get that grasp yet again against the DWG setup. As it's going back down into the bar games room, we shall see if that'll work out once again for DWG. They'll have that usual extended play over into Library. Liquid, at least for 2 of their players, going to be avoiding that by trying to put pressure on a Solarium and possibly same side Garage here too. Trying to see exactly where Sexy Cake was heading towards. Ends up not being in that department of the map. However, Palu on his own, a little bit closer to the primary setup. Still looking at possibly entry in from the middle of the building, however, but after everything is said and done, he's going to rotate over to the side entry just by the first floor entrance to the main part of the map over there by the site. So continue to see him wait that out as Liquid will now entry in from the Solarium side and begin to take the large majority of the map control for now.
If Rin's brain is that unbelievably big to where he's just going to hold that angle for K9 and somebody's going to come to the K9 door and die, I'm going to lose my marbles. But they are indeed going to drone Rin out, so that's a positive thing here. It'll back Rin off into the deployable shield setup for Library Balcony that we all know and love. So we'll see what they're able to accomplish with this. Also have coded here for the top of blue. That'll be the cutoff, trying to apply pressure to Liquid and slow them down from taking top control. Usually what we see here, at least from the offenses of the past on this map, might have been DWG, but I cannot exactly remember off the top of my head. But it was indeed the office clear here, and he's just simply trying to pop that wall to apply some pressure to Coded's position. He's going to get pressured out now, though, as his ADSs will be burnt down, deployable shield gone. He's still going to continue to try and hold on to this, but that was ill-advised as Nesk is able to bounce one downtown.
Basketball Month's been really impressive for Neighbor coming in from all of our R6 teams here. Everybody's giving us these really impressive banked angles. And again, it's so unfortunate for DK. They have all this positioning, they have all this aggressive prowess, but they're unable to leverage any of it into anything successful here in the early to mid round. Woogie Man, Coded, and Rin, and now Katsang as well, falling to pieces on the inside of our 4th round in the 2nd map. And Yas, the hope of DWG Kia, now the last one alive, and he's not even going to come close. Picked off by the Blue Stairs player. That's a very flawless round coming in from Team Liquid.
This is where Liquid gets scary. Their ability to not only take the gunfights, but their team play in synergy. It's just masterfully done from there. I love what Morenga did with the smoke up top as well. If you saw that, he was able to cross across the angle there. We don't get to see that happen very often inside of Rainbow Six Siege, so always cool to see when it does happen. Liquid up 4-0 on DWG right now, and well, we had 4-4-4 the last time, but it's in the death department now for DK, as well as a lot of ones coming in here for Rin, Cat, and Coded.
Yeah, unfortunately, again, this is just the aggressive tendencies that normally work out and is normally the trademark of DWGK that we've been seeing so far at this major anyway. Liquid's right into it. Liquid knows exactly how to counter it, especially now that we're not on Coastline where you have so many more aggressive possibilities and the attackers have to watch just far too many angles. It's much more straightforward now to Liquid to counter all this out, and it's going very similarly to as we saw in some of their group stages games versus Empire, where Empire had to completely change up their strategy mid-game, start playing this very passive, very bunker-heavy site-style setup to finally get some rounds on the board on their defense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about trying to maintain that utility going into those last moments to try and thwart Liquid's plans, and DWG DWG just have not been able to do that. A lot of the time trying to hold on to map control, which is something that Liquid really set up for everyone when it came to SI 2021. That was a big difference that everyone saw. You guys more than likely heard Pangu talking about it as well. But that means that Liquid is used to this. They know that you're going to try and stick around this area and, you know, maintain that angle, try and get some picks, try and catch somebody off guard. So they're going to just continue to apply pressure there. And that's exactly why Liquid were able to get that big frag onto Cody the last time. It really popped everything off on that top floor and really made the rounds way too difficult for DWG to try and bring back.
Still going to be a very similar flair here from Damwon Gaming, so the possibility of the same chain of events is still very much alive here. DWG Kia looking to try and line up these aggressive swings to get the advantage early on versus Liquid, but so far that strategy has not panned out in any way, shape, or form as of yet. As you can see by our scoreboard, it's a different site to play into this time, so the extension specifically in the library might fall back quickly. Rin can't get the lock on his opponent immediately. His opponent on the other side of this one, Palu, knows exactly where he's at. Rin's gonna go for the pistol fight though, and it's not gonna work out. Palu beats him out again. That's another 1v1 between those two players, going by the way of Palu, and another opening kill advantage into Liquid's pocket.
Yeah, whoever's running highlights, you're gonna want that one, because I don't know if you guys saw this, but Palu tried to shoot him with the Gon 6.
Oh, did he really?
He ran out of ammo with the G36C, swapped to the Gon 6, and then tried to kill him with the Gon 6.
I can't believe
I don't even know if you can do that if you hit them in the head, because I've never really had a reason to try. So, yeah, Liquid able to get the kill onto Rin with the most outlandish play out of West Main I have seen in quite some time that almost got him a kill. But either way, we're about halfway through the round now as Office is beginning to be bunker busted here by the exothermic charge of Sexy Cake. Blows open that wall, but obviously they'll still have to deal with these laser gates.
Well, Paulu's probably feeling pretty confident if he's making plays like that. That's one thing we can note on.
Or he forgot that he had a Gon 6. One of two things happened. We'll never know.
He was like, oh, you use pistol? He's like, what the heck is this thing? We're going to try to go in for a basement entry here, possibly try to open up some more control for the Team Liquid roster. Either way, they've already got a good amount of it, and ultimately we'll see him actually take up a window position. Cat saying no reaction. He thinks he's safe on that corner, but no, a tiny pixel or speck of his head is popped out. BSK gives his opponent a chance to react that one, but not the same thing for Yas, as Moringa is going to be able to catch that one as well, setting up a double kill for him on the inside of this round. Only 2 players left alive for DWG, and unfortunately very little damage done to anybody on Team Liquid, save for Palu from that fight versus Rin at the beginning of the round.
The insight and game sense from Liquid right now, reading right through the plans of DWG. You can see how controlled they are in their pacing, the way that they're taking these angles, because they know that DWG are going to be going for some crazy things. Woogieman going to try and back it up. He'll be able to get it, but obviously he's been read out now, and they're going to start to apply pressure to Solarium. Frag grenade downstairs, and Palu with a bank shot. Kobe, one would say, as he's able to get that down range. And that's going to be 5 rounds in a row for the LATAM squad.
And I mean, deserved, every single one of them.
Man,
here.
I really hope he's okay. I feel like his head's just really, really hurting today, so I hope he's all right.
Hopefully so, and give him an opportunity to quickly rebound after this, I would assume, as Liquid's looking for a quick mop-up here in 2-0 fashion.
They are all just smoking DWG right now. So to be playing on with a monitor that close to your face with a headache, and especially if it's a bad headache, I mean, tip of the cap to that, man, because I know that that's a struggle.
It's looking good for Team Liquid, and in the meanwhile, for DWG, the hard-headedness of their playstyle on this defensive side and a seeming unwillingness to change it up to allow for Team Liquid to get further into the building before they can finally get contests against them is causing them to lose quite a few rounds. A perfect 6-0 half is very much in the cards here now for Liquid if they continue to repeat and rerun the same exact checklist they have run the past 5 rounds.
So what's the answer for DWG? These early round attempts to try and get a pick onto Liquid are all for naught. They constantly are in a 5 versus 3 or 5 versus 2, depending on how many bodies they want to throw at the situation. And even past that, DWG still making attempts at the end of the round to use the other things that Liquid have already cut off before and are more than likely expecting no one to use to try and attempt to go for it again. And yeah, it gets some frags like the last round, for instance. You're able to get one outside, but you know, no assistance in the likes of team play overall. It's more individual gunfights that, yeah, they're able to win right now, but Liquid are just winning in the team department. It's been so well done.
Arguably more importantly, the gunfights that DWG Kia are winning are usually being won at a point where like the round is
literally
fairly over for them anyway. Yeah. So most of the frags are actually getting...
And that's saying for DWG as well.
Yeah.
So
they need to try and find some way to win these fights earlier on in the round here, because because Liquid is just being allowed to do whatever the heck they want with their executes, and unfortunately, DK is doing nothing to stop that, or at least nothing successful. Certainly making attempts here, but every single one of them is going awry. So we'll see if they finally can make something work for themselves on this final round. There's already a very nice drone inserted into the bushes there, just over by the site itself, so Liquid's going to be able to feed themselves some good info.
Okay, well, Liquid's info game throughout all of this half has been so very solid, especially matched up with Dokkaebi on PSK, who has been playing so very well thus far, despite the issues, obviously. But for Paula, also been a big part of this info game here, or Palu, excuse me. But either way, still been a very, very big piece to this puzzle with this Gemini. Sexy Kate gonna begin blowing the wall here.
Oh,
Rin
run.
not enough time, sadly enough. Did not hear the exothermic going down in time. And if indeed stuck to the animation, more than likely would have been killed by that exothermic. So a good shot call there.
Little worried for Rin for a second. Thought he was going to try to hard commit to that. Probably would not have gone well, but thankfully realizes his mistake fairly quickly and evacuates back down to the site. Probably going to throw the rest of these batteries just on the wall here too, since not a whole lot of trick play potential to come out, save for these walls here. Yas just kind of on drone watch more than anything there on that hole. And
no,
Rin,
Rin, you've chosen wrong. Sexy Cake, what are you doing?
Yeah, really.
Why didn't you blow it?
I guess they weren't necessarily expecting the bandit to be down there.
I mean, I guess, but
because to be fair, that's not a very common pick from my experience, at least.
You're absolutely right. It more than likely will be in the future. And speaking of picks, John, Cat's gonna die again. 1-6-0 right now for the South Korean player. A big pickup here for Palu. Yas will be able to refrag onto Moringa, but Sexy Cake one of his own, and the shots starting to come back and forth in between these two as we get it down into a 3 versus 3.
So here we go. This is looking much better for Damwon Gaming Kia now, keeping the fight much more reserved to the site itself. Trying to bring Liquid in a little bit more before they can get anything. Woogie Man is going to find a very impressive kill there against Ness, but at the same time he lost Yas, who was his other aggressive counterpart here, trying to slow down the progression from Team Liquid. No longer will that be the case. You only have Rin and Woogie Man on the site itself to fend off the attack from PSK and Palu here. Palu as well, having the Gemini drone to throw out here, can get that free intel on at least one of the players from the team as he moves forward. PSK will try to act on that intel from the staircase down below. Woogie Man's going to have to be cautious here as he's also expecting pressure from Solarium, so he needs to get the correct read. For Team Liquid, they need to execute now because they're running out of time.
Woogie Man with an opportunity here to handle the Solarium player. PSK with a beautiful shot onto Rin. They don't know where the last one is, but PSK floods in with the SMG-12. And you can see on this man's face, he's just like, please get me out of here. Like, I'm putting everything on the line for this team right now. And honestly, we respect your valiant effort, my friend. We all know how difficult it is to play with a headache like that, and you are doing a bang-up job right now. This is just absolutely incredible. A 6-0 half for Liquid off of the back of the efforts from PSK and Palu.
So one more round is all that's needed. Obviously, we could see a comeback from Damwon Gaming, but I mean, I'm not gonna rely on it.
This is so sad after Coastline.
So much hope, right? So much. We pegged this one as like, this was the good map for Damwon Gaming. They had a 100% win rate on it. Their opponents seemed to like fear them playing them against this map as they banned it out every single time. Almost 30 bans from their opponents in the past history. But unfortunately, here today against Team Liquid, that's not shown through. And Liquid is giving us a very, very solid performance to give us a quick 2-0 closeout.
Well, I already watched one of the craziest games that I have watched in some times, especially when it comes to, you know, just things regarding the match. And the best way to put that, obviously, would be like, just tell you guys what the game is. And it was Team 1, their tiebreaker up against Cyclops, one of the most incredible matches I've watched in some time. They were only allowed to lose 2 rounds, John. 2 rounds inside of the entirety of the game. At this moment in time, DWG, all of their playoff hopes right now lie in this, Perfect Siege, which is a game where crazy things happen all of the time. It's like chess. There's basically always something that's going to be different, even when it comes down to the exact same operator lineups and the exact same map. DWG have to be flawless on this side.
And unfortunately, with the performance we saw on their defensive half, yes, I'll admit, things can be drastically different on the attacking side, but given it's a 6-0, and given the fact that Liquid seemed to have absolute control over everything Damwon Gaming was trying to do against them, it's very hard for me to believe in that type of a comeback. But let's let the game speak for itself as we're into the round now. It's time to see what exactly DWG Kia can give us on this attacking side to give us some hope, maybe.
Well, Zofia up that means Rin is on it. No Ash play here for the offense. So holding on to that as Katsang will take down one. It's Palu trying to rotate through the basement. Ends up getting his head removed. Only going to be his second death of the game, though. Is Liquid still trying to play to the Solarium side. Gonna need some assistance here inside of the utility department as he'll try and clear some things out. Cat with a beautiful angle. The way that they've been using this buck, it's a triple for Cat, and well, I might be holding my tongue for the remainder of this offensive half. We'll have to see. With a start like that, I really don't know what else to say.
I think we just super jinxed it.
Super's a player of the Sonics.
And? I keep trying to come up with some more witty. I blanked.
Got him. I win. I win, guys. I win.
So let's see here now. Katsang with the ultimate control over this round right here, just tearing apart all of that aggression from Liquid. PSK and Sexy Kick obviously going to stick very close to the site now as they need to try and defend the OBJ inside of these final minute and 15 seconds of the round here. For Damwon, they're going to take things nice and slow as well here, just to make sure they don't make any mistakes. Obviously, one round loss and they are out of this game, even with a 5v2 advantage. That could turn itself around fairly quickly if you're not careful. So they're sending all sorts of drone work, and you can even see some more flying in the back of the shot there. It's all sorts of drone work into this site to really get a lock on where these last two players from Liquid are going to try and play from.
That's the beauty of these early picks. They'll be able to use the maximum amount of this time to make sure that they do not make a mistake. Liquid still trying to hold on to two separate floors here. Sexy Cake, the lone soldier inside of the actual site. He'll get taken down. It's a flood from DWG as three members pile on top of him. Not a single safe angle to try and work. PSK, now the lone man alive for Liquid on the defense. Yeah, that's more than likely a freebie coming in here, but oh no, the shot spray wide, but now he's locked in between two separate angles. Tries to come back for the window work, and Yas ready with open arms. This is going to be a flawless round to start us off.
If they were going to give us hope, that's a perfect way to do it there. Damwon Gaming Kia showing us a completely different look on their attacking side, absolutely shredding specifically for Katsang with that position in the basement there. All of the Liquid offenders that try to take him down, as well as some of his teammates there. And then from that point forward, just a matter of making sure they don't mess up the 5v2, which hey, they didn't. It happened in very clean fashion and a very well-deserved first round going on to the board. But it is only the first. We need to see 5 more of those to trigger overtime.
Yeah, I think the buck work really caught Liquid off guard there. It started off immediately. I don't know if you guys saw it, but our spectator caught it. Cat actually ended up stepping right inside the garage door, popped the hatch, and then shot up through Trophy to check the corner of Solarium with that skeleton key. Got the initial frag that we saw, but then moved over to create an angle for the bottom of Solarium stairs, so that when you try and rotate out, you just get screwed from the bottom angle that no one is prepared for. That's one that's basically never used. It even caught Liquid off guard there. So, you know, obviously Liquid tried to fight back. They dropped somebody down the hatch, but Cat also good for that frag as well, up against Nesk of all people. And, well, when you start off at a 5v2 with 2 minutes, it's going to be a far cry to try and win that round if you're the defense.
So let's see if Liquid will have better odds on their next site choice here. They did try to go for the kitchen defense in the first round. This time is going to be the hold, where we have seen probably the most success. I don't have the stats in front of me right now, so I don't know exactly, but I believe usually the most success for defenders on this site. Let's see if that will hold itself true once again, as Liquid still looking for the quick closeout for themselves. Damwon Gaming looking for the comeback of the century, down from an 0-6 deficit to try to take it to overtime. They even know already there's no chance of winning this in regulation. If they're going to win it, they've got to come all the way back from the brink to pick up virtually 8 rounds in a row.
Also, I don't believe we've had a timeout yet.
We have not.
We have, yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure, because this has been going so very quickly thus far. Just wanted to double check. So yes, no timeout used by DWG yet. And obviously, as we've been stating this entire time, they're 1 round away from a loss. So they feel as though they can do this under their own power. We'll have to see if they can do it going forward. Obviously, the site change here for Liquid, they're going to be focusing things on Library and trying to keep this locked up for the time being. We'll see how they want to abuse this lineup on the offense, especially Katsang in this situation. The Bucks not going to have as much influence as it once did.
Sexy Cake, he's thinking about it for sure, as he's got the lean out. He's smart if he checks, though, because there is going to be a Claymore position there. So if he hops out, it'll be a very quick death against himself. And Rin will feel a lot more secure as a result of that. Liquid will continue to hold the side window that heads into the library as well as over towards the blue steps there. Gets the ping onto the player that's holding the wall outside of library, but unfortunately the angle does not favor the window peak just as of yet. PSK is instead worried about the players on the outside balcony over closer towards Ego there. So as a result of that, Rim is going to be able to eventually find success isolating out Sexy Cake of all people. He tries to make that push for the looks of it over by the window. He pays the price. Once again, Damwon Gaming getting an advantage to build off here in the early round.
So, advantage to work off of now, but the good news for Liquid is it's not nearly as many bodies. Marengo will take down Woogieman as well, and they'll equalize going into the last minute. Plenty of utility here for Marengo to use inside of sight, especially for these toxic babes that are going to deny that space and make planting ever more difficult for the offense. DK, though, have to try and find some answers, but it's not for their side to say. It's for Palu to say instead. He'll take down one. Rin trying to surge forward and through Library Hallway. But starting to see the entirety of this top floor is clear. They'll take down the default cam inside a Fireplace, but the timer dwindling, and also Liquid set up with some plays across the map.
Liquid with that security now, holding back on the aggression. They don't need to throw it at Damwon Gaming anymore. Now that they have the player count in their favor. Yas opens up the hatch, tries to see if anything free will present itself, but certainly not the case here. Nice ping coming out, but it's still not going to lead to anything against the Team Liquid roster, just as of yet. Moringa instead strikes next, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very quickly, the rest of the DK roster falls, and with that, Team Liquid take this quarterfinal 2-0 in their favor, and they push themselves forward into the semifinals.
I feel so very sorry for DK that it had to end like that, but still an amazing showing from them on Coastline. And I said this a couple of days ago, guys, this is one of the most entertaining squads that we have had in the last 2 years of Rainbow Six Siege. So please, everybody in chat right now, put up your condolences for this squad and also your praises for Team Liquid, as not only do they win this match, but that also locks them in for SI as they reach semis.
A massive opportunity for Liquid that'll be coming up next year as well, with a solid performance such as this, and really any potential for them in the future here in this tournament. Run to the finals seems almost certain now, with that great rebound on map number 2 here, as well as the performance they brought to the table there. Great stuff from Team Liquid, a 6-1 follow-up after looking a little bit shaky there, to be honest, on Coastline, but there was reasons to explain that, as they had no way to expect that Damwon Gaming was going to bring such a solid performance there themselves.
Yeah, you know, the thing for DK is it almost felt like a Mayweather fight. He's just gonna sit there, kind of bounce back and forth in the ring for about 8 rounds. He's like, okay, I know what you're about, and then he just starts punching you in the face. And that's really what it was. Liquid knew what DK were going to do inside of that map, and they abused it to the highest extent.
Yeah, it was far too similar to what we saw on Coastline as well, and that was the problem. Is, I mean, already seen the Coastline play out over the course of 15 rounds. There are 14 rounds, I do believe, technically speaking, and as a result of that, they knew exactly what to do coming into this second map, handled it perfectly, and the problem for Damwon Gaming is never really changed up that playstyle, never really tried to do anything different, and to be fair, it's sometimes a little difficult to not play into an aggressive playstyle, at least an extended hold as we're doing since the map is Chalet. You kind of have to play into it to some extent, especially depending on the site you're playing on, but still, they stayed pretty much the same from what I saw throughout that one, and they paid the price for it as Liquid tore them apart every single round.
Yeah, cool, calm, collected is Liquid inside of this tournament, and honestly, this is one of the best showings from them that I've seen at a tournament, and it's awesome. I mean, this entire year has just been LATAM action. Obviously, Ninjas in Pajamas taking SI 2021, with the runners-up being Team Liquid. So, with that being said, folks, that's going to do it for us for right now. You guys will have Kixon and Taro for the next cast, but we have an analyst desk ready for you guys, so we're going to jump on over to them.
Thank you, gentlemen. And yes, it will be a 2-0 for Team Liquid, making sure that they've only dropped 1 map here so far at the 6th Major. And that means also that that 1 map, we also had questions about it, was versus TSM. Wasn't entirely...
Does it really count, though? Like,
it wasn't serious gaming, I would say.
Yeah, they've still been dominant throughout the entire tournament, right? And I think that's the main point we want to drive home here. Liquid continue to look like a really solid team. And I was worried after Coastline. I said, that's a really bad sign. But their ability to bounce back and still win this game so decisively, I mean, that really does clear my mind about them.
So much of what happened in that Chalet game was just Damwon Kia falling completely apart when they needed to not do that. A lot of desperation moves, times where we didn't think that their mentality or their tenacity that they showed in 2 OT wins against NIP was going to rear its ugly head on a playoff stage where the pressure was the highest for them. That just, it blows.
Yeah, yeah, and what they would call it in Korean is menbun, which means like mental break. Because I've asked their coaches about that, and they said like, oh no menbun at all, because they were in such good spirits after these upset victories, and I know they're going to be very happy with this overall, which is they've obviously gone a lot further than they expected. They've defeated opponents like NIP and G2 that people thought would beat them. So this has been a really good result. You could see the excellent sportsmanship, clapping for Liquid at the very end here. They unfortunately got a very, very tough quarter draw. And
They did.
And they still made the most of it, especially on Coastline.
Yeah, I think definitely Damwon Kia are an extremely emotional team. I think that's been shown time and time again, even back in APAC, right? So I think it's a big deal that they started off a little slow on this map. Like, it's hard for them to try to gain that momentum back when they fall into a slump like that, but really well played by Team Liquid.
Looked overall like Damwon had, after those first 2 rounds, it seemed like everything was already beginning to slowly slide. Like, we see already, there are times where they're in super easy to kill spots. They don't have a Thatcher ban on the board, so times like that where nades can't be stopped. And this is also another big deal. Rin had so many swings in this game, most of which were very ill-advised. Like that one, you simply can't pursue for that long and expect to get a positive result out of it. So they might work, but if it does, it has to be a player considerably worse than the one he was pursuing in that round.
Yeah, I think what was disappointing, and we talked about this at the last round, is that when they were calm and collected on Coastline, they were looking good, and it was the desperation that was really hurting them, and it's kind of painful to see Rin making plays like that. And I think what's interesting about Rin overall is that, Jess was saying with her experience at APAC that one of the things that Damwon Kia has done very well has been kind of to leash Rin and bring him into the rest of the team. And I asked Damwon Kia how they had done that, and they said, oh no, we just play around Rin now. They realized he just can't be controlled. Okay. And so that has been their strategy, and we saw the counters, the Zofia ban coming in from Liquid. I think they realized that if they put a lot of pressure on Rin, that he might crack, and unfortunately, like, plays like that outside on the defense, kind of like going back to the old Rin, and there's really no way his teammates can support him in a play where he's playing that aggressively.
Yeah, we talk a lot about Yas being a very star player for this team, and for very good reason. The placement that he had, #1 overall rated in APAC North for Stage 2, 100% deserved. The issue is that he needs Rin to be a bounce back in a lot of circumstances, and Damwon Kia isn't a team that plays the trade game very well. Sometimes if they go in with enough droning problems that they have by comparison to other regions, if someone on their team dies on attack, there may not be a follow-up, and Yas and Rin need to be the double trouble combo, so to speak, in order to make sure that you don't get a really disadvantageous man count very early on in a round. Being able to build a roster around Rin is theoretically a nice idea, but over the course of the group stage, we saw plenty of instances where not only was he bottom fragging, but he was taking those entry engagements, those entry swings, and it still meant he was dying first. He's the one dying first. He's great in late game if he can survive that long. The Coastline map against Liquid is enough proof of that. Simply not to be in this case, though.
Yeah, bummer for Damwon Kia. The Liquid dominance continues, and to show us a little bit of how Liquid continues to run the table here at this tournament, it's going to be Jesse, who's over to look at round 4.
Thank you, Monty. We're here with the telestration device, and we're going to go over one of these rounds, and I think, you know what, something's missing. Hold on, give me a moment. That's better. That's better. All right, Professor Chick, ready to break down some VODs for you guys. We got round 4, Liquid versus Damwon Kia. Right now, I want you to watch down here this exothermic. It gets shot right at the end. You just caught it there. Because there was a camera on this, it got pinged, and they were able to come back here from Damwon Kia and be able to stop that from going off. So this moment. However, from here, it's going to get a little bit worse for Damwon, because after this, it's going to end up being a flawless round for Team Liquid. First, we're going to watch as a nade will fly over and be able to take down Coded. There goes the shield first. Coded is trying to use some of these toxic babes, which I love, but he's got to back off because Nesk is not at the doorway here. Watch, he's at the window, and that's why the nade is able to successfully go off and get this first kill. The next thing I want to highlight is these two roamers. Look at Rin, look at Woogieman. We paused them. These guys need to be working as a pair now that the stair pressure has fallen on the side of Damwon Kia, but they're not going to do that. Woogieman's just going to be too passive, and as we press play on this VOD, we'll see Liquid able to clear these guys out super effectively. There's Palu for the first one, and then Woogieman all alone up here in Library. arguably should be falling off right now. He's going to go for the aggressive play and stick around, but Moringa's got his number. And from here on out, it really is a solid round from Team Liquid. You'll be able to watch Moringa get this one in the 1v5. Just doesn't have a whole lot of hope. So ultimately, I wanted to highlight this round because it was so good from Team Liquid, so structured, and it's one of the big reasons why Damwon Kia weren't able to find any successful rounds in that first half.
Excellent breakdown, Professor Chick. We're going to take a look at our matchup between these two star players, Palu and Rin. Of course, Rin really struggling that last round, unfortunately. Palu continues to be Mr. Consistent, the reigning SI MVP, delivering once again.
This was one of the matchups I specifically wanted to look at because this is just an example of Palu playing this exact role far better than Rin in so many different circumstances. We could have done a Palu versus Yas comparison, but here we specifically wanted to focus on the fact that Palu is creating impact on more rounds more consistently than Rin is. This match in particular is just focusing on what happened from that previous map. This is just from Chalet. But if you look at the stats for Palu versus Rin overall, it shows the story over and over again of how Rin is dying first on these entry engagements. First one in the building, first one to get taken down. There isn't a trade ready for him. And Palu and Nesk in tandem are capable of playing the trade game to a much, much further capacity than Rin is capable of doing. And the fact that he only has one opening kill, by the way, did Rin in that Chalet game, it's like the desperation is already present. If he's having that bad of a performance in round 5 notwithstanding, it kind of goes to show you how quickly Rin and all of Damwon Kia's mentality went in the dirt really quick.
Yeah, and I think Rin is a great player. I mean, his aim is incredible. We've heard him be called the Korean Shaiko, which I think is fitting, honestly.
Okay, yeah.
But the problem is he can't frag if he's dead, right, Jacob? His survival rate has been horrible. It was 17% through the group stage. His opening kill stats were 8 and 14, so he was really struggling on that aspect. And, you know, it's great to have a star fragger. He just has to be alive if he wants to have an impact.
How would you change how Damwon Kia is playing in order to keep him alive more often so he can do his fancy stuff towards the end of the round?
I mean, I think the easy answer would be to tone down on the aggression a little bit and maybe just try to play a little bit more passive. But I honestly think the aggression is good from Damwon Kia, from APAC in general. I think that has worked in their favor. It just has to be a little bit more coordinated, have a little bit more team presence in there. Even if Rin's going in and dying first, if there's a trade, it's okay, right? You can have that opening death without it being too drastic of an impact, as long as somebody is there to get your trade for you and make sure that it's not the end of the world.
My suggestion to Damwon Kia would be take a look at how the Susquehanna Sonics play Rainbow Six in that regard. We talked about Rexon a lot. He isn't an entry player. He's the guy that goes in and cleans up once that initial kill happens in the first place. If it's Grixer dying first, Rexon's always there. If it's Super dying first, Rexon's also probably there. There's a way for you to make sure there's always somebody else in the back pocket for whatever take you're trying to go for. If you're going for Villa, site is AVG, you're trying to push from master side, then what you got to do is make sure that there's two people at the very least on that initial execute, acquiring map control together and not attempting to play as solo as one might expect. That's the idea here.
Very interesting. Well, we're going to take a look at our MVP of the day, which unfortunately is not going to be Rin. It will, however, be the player who is up against Rin in our stats sheet there. Will be Palu from Team Liquid. Won an MVP of the day in the group stage as well. And the way we're going to be doing MVPs today, by the way, is we're going to give one to every match, and then we will fight at the end of the day for which player is the king of MVPs, the most valuable player.
The MMVP.
Exactly. The MMVP will be decided at the end of our quarterfinals.
Well, 24-9, 82 cost. Palu definitely has a strong argument to be that MMVP. Obviously, he's been the MVP throughout the group stage, and I think he did a great job this game of shutting down those kind of crazier plays we saw from Damwon, especially on that second map. You know, there was a lot of times where DWG were really trying to get aggressive and make something happen, and every single time Palu was there to say no.
Palu is just picking right up from where he left off at SI. Most like the rest of Team Liquid is also doing the exact same thing. Palu is someone we sincerely cannot hype up to the moon enough because he keeps on performing. The consistency is something we've never questioned about his play, and yeah, MVP is very well deserved. Though, I do want to mention one thing. PSK, I think, was playing with a splitting headache throughout the course of that series. Every time cameras would cut back to him, it's always just like he looks like he's always sweating or he's holding his head in some fashion. So props to PSK for being able to fight through that as they won this series.
Yep, 2-0 as well, and now they've got the rest of the day to rest until our semifinals tomorrow. So I assume that your faith in Liquid was restored after seeing Chalet.
Indeed.
Getting a little nervous about Coastline?
Yeah, a little bit, but ultimately, like, this is the sign of a great team, right? A great team like Team Liquid is going to be able to take a loss, or not even a loss, but such a tough game like Coastline, adapt midway through to get the comeback in the second half and in overtime, and then when you have that break, when you can talk to your support staff, talk to your coach, your analysts, figure out what's going on, and just dominate the second map. So that was honestly even more impressive to me than if they had just dominated 2-0 in a clean fashion.
This is what my prediction bracket was looking like from the start. You can go find it on Twitter. I said it was going to be a 2-0 from Team Liquid. Yes, obviously.
Bold take.
I mean, yeah, but for any time that you have a game go to overtime, there's obviously a little bit of concern.
Yeah.
Chalet basically wiped those completely clean, and then they go on to play the winner of Dark Zero and Team 1 later on.
Which you would think Team Liquid would probably have a pretty big advantage in that matchup
Already,
too.
yeah.
For sure.
I think so.
So we have now eliminated Damwon Kia from this tournament. Do you have a parting message to Damwon Kia? Because we're probably not going to be able to talk about them again. So one takeaway.
They beat all my expectations. It was going to be last place in the group is where I thought they were going to place. They blew that out of the water, and they did it in a more structured play style than I anticipated. I thought it was going to be all raw APAC aggression, but instead they had more of a formula to their madness, and it worked up until they got here. 2 victories in overtime, comebacks against the defending world champions is a massive deal. And they also defeated their own expectations because they were kind of here just to feel the water out a bit, see how they do with other competition that isn't in APAC, and they did a fantastic job. So to Damwon Kia, hold your heads high because what you've accomplished here in Mexico, it's exemplary, and you should absolutely feel proud about your performance here.
Undoubtedly, Damwon Kia are the best team in APAC right now. I'm going to give them that title. They're the best team in Korea's history. I'm going to easily give them that title. And they've won over all of our hearts. I mean, they really did surprise everybody in that group stage. And it was wonderful to see. They lose to Team Liquid, who had a lot of incentive to beat them, not just because it's a bracket, but also to qualify for the 6th Invitational. So huge congrats to Damwon for playing as well as they did. I think they can leave this event very proud.
If nothing else, they're walking away with a nice pocket of $80,000. So let's go, boys. Congratulations. That was really well done.
Well, I think, too, what's great about Damwon Kia is that now that they are part of the Damwon Kia overall training facility in Seoul, they haven't been there for a super long time yet, and now they have a lot more resources from the organization to put around them. So keep watching APAC, guys. It's probably only going to get better. It's the same thing with IG. Relatively new, they are going to get more resources. So, you know, if these teams did that well at this event, I think you can probably expect even more from them in the future, which is really cool for Rainbow Six Siege. We do have to bust out the old death whistle, unfortunately.
See, last time you did this, we were concerned about building structural integrity. Can you not curse us into oblivion, please?
Look, I'm not superstitious, but I enjoy the fact that you are, and it makes you nervous. It just makes it even more fun for me.
I'm not superstitious. I'm playing it up for the crowd.
Fair enough.
I think we got Coppet in the back going, what is that?
Yeah. Sorry, Damwon.
Rest in peace forever, Damwon.
Sorry, Damwon. As teams are eliminated, we'll keep doing that. On a significantly less fun note, we do have to talk about what is going to be going on with our schedule today and the overall structure of the 6th major here in Mexico. So we have a statement that has been issued by the social media online. We can go ahead and bring that up right now. And as you can see, today we regret to announce that 2 members of Dark Zero Esports have tested positive for COVID-19. As part of our strict sanitary protocol implemented and enforced by FACEIT during the 6th Mexico Major, both have been placed in isolation and all necessary follow-up measures are being taken to ensure the safety of all participants and staff in the venue. We wish the players a speedy recovery and are currently assessing measures required to ensure their safe return to the United States. In essence, I'm not going to read the rest of it. Dark Zero is going to play. They are going to be playing in isolation from their hotel rooms, which means that that match, in order to set this up, has also been moved to the end of the day. For those of you who are concerned, the players are fine right now, so they don't have terrible symptoms or anything like that. Everyone, including all of us, on the crew, talent, players, were all tested this morning. We have not had any other positive test results. So feeling relatively comfortable overall. These are obviously extremely tough times, and I'm glad the players will be able to continue their run here on Dark Zero, and they're feeling up to it. So good news for that. Now, what this means in terms of the schedule is as follows, which is that their match, which was to be played next, has now been moved to the end of the day. Space Station Gaming versus Empire has now been moved up into the next match, and BDS versus Furia, which was previously the last match, has also been moved up. I think this is the fairest way to do it. Had we swapped matches, it would have been a lot sooner for BDS versus Furia, and so now every team has basically just been moved up a couple of hours in the schedule, but considering they're all playing each other, each team has the same disadvantage effectively.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the right thing to do for Dark Zero. It sucks we don't have them on stage, but safety is absolutely the most important concern. So this is the right call, and yeah, it means that you're stuck with us, Monty, for a whole nother best of 3.
I prefer to think of it as I get rid of you earlier.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Wow, you really don't like us that much, huh? Wow, okay.
Yeah, just saving the best for last. It's fine.
Is this revenge for you not actually getting the laptop after all? Was that like...
No, I'm not bitter about that. I'm not you. It's fine. I can let it go.
I don't know if I'm bitter. I mean, if anything, I'm very relieved these days. Dude, the whole pressure's been taken off my shoulder. I finally got what I deserved, and he's wearing the shirt to prove it, so...
That's fair. That's fair. I'm happy for you.
Thank you, Monty. I appreciate it.
You'll have all afternoon to go watch these games on your new Predators laptop.
That's true, and I can actually like play video games while I'm in Mexico. I haven't done that at all.
Very fun. All right, guys, we're going to go to a break after this, and we'll get Space Station Gaming and Team Empire, NA's #1 versus Europe #1, up on stage as fast as possible for your viewing pleasure. We'll see you then.